Hey, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. My hair is crazy. I didn't even check it before I came down. I hate that it's not like a mirror. It's like all opposite, so my hands want to do opposite. Anyways, I hope everybody is well. It's Sunday, July 13th. Um, and I'll get the list going so we can see who has readings. Okay, I have Gabrielle, um, Tiffany, and Catherine. I'm having a good Sunday. We just had I just took a little nap, so I'm a little waking up a little bit. Went to ice skating this morning. Oh shoot, I meant to bring down other cards today, and then the dragon book. Oh well, it is what it is. Um, I did find the dragon book, and I did email that to Regine last week. And then Michelle, if you're watching, I still need to email you. I have to dig through those cards and find the one to email you because I've got to watch the last one back so I can email it to you. So I'm doing okay. My week was okay. It was just busy. Like, I always expect the summers to be just like a little bit slower paced. They're not. I'm not complaining. It's not bad. It's not bad busyness. I've had a lot more readings than I expected, and I'm happy about that. Um, sure. So Ravi, can I call you Ravi? Because I don't know if I'm going to say your name right. Ravi, is it Teja or Teja? Um, they're $12 for here. Here's how we do it. So they're $12 for a question. 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey because food scarcity is real. And then if you just want like a free thing at the end, I'll do free card pull for you. But otherwise, because that's like I don't really have to work to do that one. And I'll let you pick from one of the decks I have. I have 7 to choose from today because I forgot to bring down more. Today I did a reading, and I wanted to bring down my tea leaf cards because those are fun. I've got some other decks up there. I did, if you get my emails, I did the reading from the tea leaf card today. Hi, Tiffany. Tiffany, I think I meant to add you. I know you purchased. Oh, I did add you. Okay. What was I going to say? This week, yeah, it's just been a busy summer. Like I just didn't expect it. So it's not bad. It's just busy. I just feel like I'm like running around a lot. My husband and 2 younger kids are going to go away for a weekend in a couple weeks. So I'm like trying to and they're going to be on a lake. And so I'm like, want to get them swimsuits that are like bright colored, some life jackets while they're snorkeling. I don't know. So just like doing stuff to help get them ready for that because to ease my own nerves. You know how it is. Hi, Catherine. Um, so, Allie, this is how they work. They're the questions, and I've got for payment. I've got them pinned to click onto my PayPal. It's $12 a question. 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. But if you just want to hang out and watch at the end, I will let you pick from one of my decks, and I'll give you a free card reading, Oracle card reading. And I have 7 with me today. Next week I'll have more. I promised I would bring down more, and then I completely forgot. I think because I just took a quick nap because I was feeling a little sleepy. So I took like a 30-minute nap. And the week has been going good. I'm getting better at ice skating. We went this morning. I'm getting better at I can do my 2-foot turns with much more confidence now. I'm working on my 3 turns, which is a 1 foot. And it looks like the little line you make in the ice looks like a 3. It's called a 3 turn. Hi, Katrina. So yeah, that's like what I've been up to. And then like just hang with my girls. I did a circle for a church out of Brooklyn this week. Tomorrow I'm doing co-conducting a circle for the Spiritual Church of New York City, which is I guess you would call it my home base church. And that one I think is filled. If you end up following them, they send out things to tell you who's conducting or co-conducting, so you guys can always, join those. I don't know how much they charge for those, to be honest with you. It's not huge, and it's a limit of. I think the Spiritual Church of New York City has a. So that's an opportunity for you to get a reading for myself or another one of the reverends for those churches. Okay. Let's see. Amanda, I've got you. Let me see who else. Devery, I've got you. All right. Okay. Okay, Katrina, I've got you too. Hang on. Tropical Empress, which is your name, Amanda? It just might not be in yet if it's not. Just because if you're. Okay, you're Amanda. Okay. All right. All right, well, let's get started. Enough about me. Let me add Katrina in here. Okay. I'm thinking about the future and wanted to ask what you see as in the upcoming months. Can you tell me, do you want to look at health, love, career, personal life? I only ask that because sometimes it just narrows it down a little bit, makes it a little easier when you're looking at time frame. Whatever comes through. Okay. I know that you said that you and your husband were taking a little getaway. Is there a waterfall with that? So I just kind of asked like for July, like, so I'm going to go like do a couple months, like by month instead of just like the couple of months because it feels less fast. And I just felt like freedom and relief and happiness. And I just felt like I was near a waterfall, like not a huge one, but just like an area where there's waterfalls. I almost felt like I was posing for a picture. That feels like this month. August feels like release for me. And it's interesting because they're showing it to me as almost like removing something from my body. Now, I don't think you're having like any sort of ectomy done. as in surgery. I just feel like, and you understand that, right? So like the ectomy part of medical terminologies. I just feel like energetically something is being removed from me, and there's a huge release, and a weight off of my shoulders. It um Lots of lakes and stuff. Okay, I just saw myself like with waterfalls, like I okay, so I could hear as if there's like kind of a gravelly area, um, and then like I'm standing there and there's a waterfall behind me. It's not huge. It just feels like a big release, a good release. That's a good one. And then August feels like this big release. I feel like that's probably when you're doing a lot of, truthfully, this is work around your mom and like letting go a lot of the old blocks and patterns that are keeping you stuck. I, my sense is learning to set really good, healthy boundaries. I also felt like a lot of crying, not like you're going to be crying the whole month, but that's like how it's going to kind of come out is just, um, so when I do some foam rolling or any sort of like working on my fascial stuff and there's a release, sometimes I just cry and I have like zero control over it. It's not like I'm sad. It's just that's a release. It's that sort of feeling. Then it's also the feeling of like, shoot, I just want to go back to where I was because they said something else. I need to figure that out. Oh, sorry. That's the thing about intuition. It is quick and it's here and gone. But it's the feeling of, I just want to go back to the feeling of like where I'm seeing it as my heart chakra is this is how you give and receive love to yourself and others. I just feel like this big block removed. You said you just have one son, right? Because I feel like there's a daughter. So this could be like really a big part of you moving on to this journey of when you'll eventually be a mother to a daughter. Like this is necessary for that, for you to have a really good, healthy relationship with her. Um, I also feel like this is when you and your husband become a true cohesive team. Um, and it's not that I don't think that you're a team now. I just feel like true partnership. Like, I don't want to be like you against the world, but the stuff from the other family members don't matter anymore. The stuff, like, especially with your mom, kind of stops mattering at that point. Um, so when I first saw this, I saw some dealing with like a health issue in the next couple of months, but I don't think it's your health issue. I think it's your mom's. Um, and I want to say it's not that I feel like, oh, I'm forgiving her because she's so sick and like it's okay. It just feels like this um, ability to see things differently. And again, it's not like a people pleaser way. It's like it's seeing her for who she really is and no longer allowing it to sort of take over your life. And yet still being able to help her or stay connected. I'm leaning towards that being like October, but might be September. I've been talking about another baby, but again, those fears are take over, and I'm truly so afraid. She had some stuff happen a bit ago where they found something in her brain MRI, but surgeon said it was nothing to worry about. But I didn't feel that way. That might resurface for her. Uh, I'm leaning towards October, but timing is weird. So, um, yeah. I'm going to say this because I don't know if anybody knew this, but I know some of you guys deal with long COVID. Uh, zinc helps with long COVID because if you've lost your sense of smell or taste, and I swear to God, I've been reading so much about it because I kept reading about loss of sense of smell because I lost mine and my taste has always been off like since March of 2020. So I'm like on, over 5 years now. And I started taking zinc. I took 50 milligrams, which is really like I found out I was like, that's really high. And I was like kind of worried. But then I started researching like zinc and histamine intolerance and zinc and like deficiencies and like finally found some articles about long COVID. So I don't know if I've jumped a timeline or just never would show up when I was looking at anosmia and parosmia. And so like some of the stuff recommends doing like for women because it's different for men. It's almost double the dose for men because their prostate uses so much zinc. But for women, it's like 50 milligrams, they say for 2 weeks, but couldn't you do up to a month? And then like if your levels don't come out, and you do up to like I think 6 months of that safely, but then you're supposed to kind of back off to do like 25 milligrams a day. But that also zinc is really important if you're having histamine issues. And I think, and I could be wrong, but my sense is, again, this is entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. My sense is that like COVID just depletes, like if you're on the border of being like, if you're low on different vitamins and minerals, I feel like it just zaps and depletes everything. Because again, I noticed like different shifts, and it also can like, and I think that's why you end up having like the MCAS flare ups and things like that, because MCAS is really tied, from what I can tell, closely to deficiencies in like vitamin D and vitamin C and zinc, and just like kind of researching that. So like if you're dealing with that and insulin resistance, so like like not able to process and push the insulin into your muscles, et cetera, et cetera. So worth looking into that if you're having long COVID issues, even if it's like if you're really, really tired, you're probably, which I had at a point, probably connected to insulin resistance and low vitamin D. So it's worth looking into those. But like all of these things, and zinc is also important for the release and use of B6. So it's like it's all intertwined. It's worth looking at. I'm mentioning it because Gabrielle, I know you're dealing with a lot. Um, so I hope that was a helpful reading, by the way. But like just sort of you being here made me think about sharing that. So if anyone else is dealing with it, worth to researching it yourself and seeing how you feel about it. And like I said, usually when I figure out like the dosing for stuff that I'm doing, I look at time frames, how long to take it, and I mark reminders and calendars and stuff because you can overdo things. And just because they're vitamins or minerals and over the counter doesn't mean they can't be a bad thing too. Okay, so let's see. Tiffany, you're here. What's your questions? And you're very welcome, Gabrielle. Hi, Nancy. I don't know if I told you this. They're paid readings. They're $12 a question. The PayPal link is pinned at the top in the comments. And I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. If you want to hang out till the end of this, and I will give everybody, whoever wants to stay and get a little oracle card reading, I'm happy to pull. You can pick whichever deck you want. I've got 7 decks today. I'm not using my dragon one because the book is sitting on my dresser. And so unless you want to sit and wait around, I can go grab a couple other decks and grab the book for the dragon reading. If you guys want to use the dragon oracle, we could do that. And that would just take me like 2 minutes to run up and down. But okay. The other day, my 7-year-old niece told me that she often sees my son, and his little brother and interacts with them almost every day. She said she sees them around me and my husband too, whenever she is around my husband and I. She never said anything before because she so used to seeing spirit of children. That's so beautiful. I'm sure that could be, I don't want to say like, well, but that could be overwhelming. I'm sure it brings a lot of emotions. How did you feel about that? Should have probably touched up my eyebrows before I came down here. I sleep with like sleep headphones on. It doesn't matter. Like I'll listen to a hypnosis and like go to sleep. You're blown away. Did she say they had any messages for you? I just always think like, I always ask because my kids have had experiences. And so I leave these really open-ended questions and see what they say. I know when my oldest was she was in kindergarten prep. So she was 5 and she was like, Mom, there's this like, so she told me just a few years ago, I don't know if she still sees them. I should ask. She said, well, I see spirits too, but they're annoying. I was like, okay, she's people are overwhelming and spirits are annoying, I suppose. So, you were trying to hold back tears listening to her talk about this over the phone. Oh, she couldn't tell me. So do you want messages to try and connect with your little boys? The first 2 things I heard was like, they'll be back and they're with you all, like literally all the time. They almost talk in unison. They say the timing wasn't right and it was not because of you though, or your husband being like not being ready. The timing wasn't right for them to come in. You know how when we were born, we have those like if you have like the astrological, your natal chart, it shows the stars in a certain place and I believe that those are like the charts we prepare, right? When we are preparing our chart to come down here and experience life. And theirs needed to be at a different time. Okay, Nancy, I'll look for it. And so theirs just wasn't quite right yet. And the other part of that is like, this is like, and I hate this because it's like, why do we have to experience bad things or heartache and heartbreak? And it was like, and it was just part of what you wrote into this was, the soul needing to experience that loss, like your soul needing to experience that loss. And almost something that you and your husband both agreed upon for you to go through together. Which, like, I have to tell you, I sort of hate messages like that. And I hate, like, I get them. And on a level, I get it. Yeah. And I get when they give me those messages to pass, like, I understand. And also, I just think it's like, yeah, but also, fuck you for that. Like, I felt okay, good. I'm like past 10 minutes in, so hopefully YouTube won't hate me for swearing. But I just feel like, man, like, but like that's what we come here as humans to do, to experience all of that. Because here on earth, at least, we don't really grow much. I mean, I hate to say it, but like we don't grow much from the happy times. Like, I mean, you can, but I feel like you have to do a lot of work to get through whatever in order to then really appreciate the happy times. But like most of our growth comes from all the garbage, the mistakes, the challenges, and the heartache. I think one of those, I think the third one is a little girl. Yeah. Um, I think we talked about that, you doing an IVF cycle. Um, I want you like also to know that like it doesn't mean, yes, we talked about it. Do you know if the third one was a little girl? Do you know what's interesting is, and I don't feel like it's anything that like you've done wrong. I feel like almost maybe your mom was exposed to something, or your grandma was exposed to something when she was pregnant with your mom. It was like grandma, or when like right before she got pregnant with your mom, because it's in your genes. Yeah. So it feels like it's grandma was exposed to something either right before or while like in the early stages of pregnancy with your mom, because your mom's eggs form in grandma, and it feels like that's where it happened. But it feels like it's like it doesn't feel like it's a fluke. It feels like an exposure. I keep getting a little girl energy around you. Did your niece ever say anything about that? Because I keep getting a little girl energy around you. I'm also getting something maybe about like twins coming in. So I don't know if it's, but I feel like it might end up being, I don't know if you'll have twin transfusions. I don't know. They might be identical, it might be a split. Because I feel like either that or like I'm getting like STA, small for gestational age. But I want to say this, and I think it's really important that like if one baby is born significantly smaller than the other one, I just feel like as much as they may say, actually, she said she couldn't tell if the second was a girl or a boy. Okay. I feel like there's a girl around you, so third might have been a girl. Um, there's a feeling of big and little, and but it feels like with one coming in. So I don't know if you transplant two and one just happens to be smaller, like, but there's like big and little, and it's like there might be a concern around the little one being little, like small for gestational age, or might be something like I don't want to say yeah, I was gonna say failure to thrive, and they're like, no, it's not. It'd be like small for gestational age. And maybe they're like, they make you worry about it. But like everything is like, no, no, no. Those ones, the SGA babies are fucking spitfires. Like they thrive. They end up doing really, really well. They're just like, yes, like they're fine. Like they end up being fine. So it's like this, like if there's a worry around it, I feel like I get through the pregnancy, I'm fine. But if there's a concern about that, like I'm not saying like don't be concerned, it's nothing, but it feels like it's going to end up being okay. So try not to worry as much. They won't let us transfer more than once. So it might end up being a split or something. There's just a feeling of like big and little, or I don't know. And I think that that's good that they don't let you transfer more than one. I have to be honest, because I always feel like I had one family who was like, I think they transferred two in one split. So they had like the singleton slash the identical, which is very rare that that happens. But like, I think you'll be pregnant within the first cycle of it. It's interesting. I get for your husband like mixed emotions around it, like excited that it's finally happened, and then like, oh shit, like like the like scared about fatherhood and the like that mixed emotion feeling about like just now the responsibility, right? Because he really wants to do it right. He really, really, it's very important to him. And so he takes it very seriously. And I also feel like he takes very seriously being a good partner to you, and wanting to make sure he supports you through it. He's not great at communicating, but I don't feel like it's like he withholds, he sort of internalizes stuff, but I don't feel like it's out of like trying to be sneaky or afraid of being vulnerable. It's just sort of how he processes things. And um, I feel like though it's not lost upon him how to also be supportive of you while dealing with things. Yeah. So that would be something I would say to, I mean, I'm sure you've addressed it, but to encourage him. And I know you know all of this stuff, but there's like, I guess I've been doing a lot of observing just in people in general. Um, it was an opportunity when I was with my family in San Antonio just to observe and see, like, it's very interesting how many things go wrong or relationships break down just because of lack of communication and sort of assumptions about situations or where people are at without getting the validation of that. Like just thinking and then just deciding that's what it is. And um, he might do well. This is weird, but those like card games they have, like the couples card games, he might actually do well with something like that. Maybe encourage him to also look at like learning how to deal with that, because I do feel like he wants to be a better father, like a better parent than he had. And not that I think his parents were terrible, just feeling like, and maybe if he sort of figures out like all of that stuff so he can be a better example for his children. Um, and I say that because like, so I got like my kids, two of my kids are in vision therapy. And the doctor like met with, like had to do these, like they do these extensive functional eye exams. And she was like, I don't know what you're doing. Cause she's met with now with two of my kids. She's like, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever, like how, like they're hard workers and they are polite um and like genuinely I think I have really nice kids. Like, are they perfect? No, nobody's perfect. I have perfect days. No, like, but like genuinely I believe I have really good kids. But like one thing I do is like I don't talk about people around them. Like I don't badmouth people around them. I don't talk about people's bodies around them. I don't, like, we just don't do that because it's not interesting. Like we say nice things about other people and their strengths and stuff like that, but like I don't speak. I don't know. I don't think it's interesting to talk poorly about other people. And I just said, and I have learned that like because something came up for one of my daughters where a little kid said something kind of mean to her. And I was like, well, how'd that make you feel? And she's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't. It's like, whatever. And I was like, okay. And I just decided it's like, because I don't like, it was a mean comment about her, of, physically. And I was like, we just don't talk about that because I don't comment on people's bodies, because literally you can have three people that are all the same height, all the same weight, and everybody will look completely different. And it just seems stupid, because quality is not about your body, and health really isn't about the size of your body, because there's plenty of uber skinny people that are just honestly very sickly and ill. And um I don't know. I really just, and I don't talk about my own body around them. So I don't know. I guess it's really just about him learning. I guess this is me getting back to your answer. Him learning, like, that he really has to lead by example, and talking about emotions and working through them. And also that, like, all emotions are okay. And then how to process through them. Like, anger is fine. Like, my kids will be like, I'm mad at you. I'm like, that's okay. You're allowed to be mad at me. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to have all of those feelings, and you work through them. And I'm here whenever you want to talk. And I mean that. Like, I don't go, it's like, I don't get offended if they're mad at me. Like, shit, I get mad at people all the time. It doesn't mean I don't love them. Okay, makeup. Okay, Tammy. I'll put you on the list, and then I'll probably re-ask you to ask your question, because that way I don't have to scroll through everything. So I guess that's my point, is like, it'd be really beneficial for him to learn to, like, read how to manage, how to work with kids and their emotions, how to teach them how to deal with their emotions, and like how to um like have healthy anger, and how to have healthy disappointment, and not internalize all of it. And some people, hi Cindy, some people, um they, again, like I said last week, when you think that you're like worrying people less if you just don't, like, you just keep it all in. It's like, but you're oftentimes, like, making things just a million times worse. And when you learn how to communicate in a healthy way, and you learn how to say things, I mean, and sometimes you're going to have people that, honestly, it doesn't matter what you say to them, they're going to become defensive and argumentative, and you can do all the right tools in all the right ways, and that's on them to have to figure out. Then that's not about you. Or people who just, like, no matter how open and easy you make it to communicate with them, or for them to communicate with you, they are still going to be who they are. And again, they have to work through their own stuff on that. Then that's not on you. I know people like that, and, like, you just have to stop reacting in those cases, because it doesn't serve anyone. They don't. Okay. Let me get to the list, and I'll add these names. I feel like you'll be able to, but I also think it's something that should be, like, looked at now. Like, hey, I noticed that you don't, you like to internalize a lot and stuff. And, um, you know, there's lots of great books on, like, learning how to do this stuff, so that, like, when we have kids, especially when you're pregnant, you have something you do it, like, something worth addressing, so that we can teach our own kids to, like, you know, what open and healthy communication looks like, and so that they don't have to go on the same struggles that you're dealing with, or, feel alone. Because I suspect, maybe this is just me, but when you're internalized a lot, it's a very lonely place when you don't feel like you have anybody you can talk to, or that you can't express yourself in a way that feels safe. And it doesn't mean that you're not a safe person. It just, nobody may be safe. And it feels like, very much for him, dad wasn't very present. Mom feels like kind of I keep hearing, and this is like, it reminds me of, like, the women, the CNAs that I worked with in the Caribbean, where they're just like, no, I mean, they're kind, but they're not always nice. Like, right? Like, they were kind, but man, they also, like, no time for anything. Like, it's just, they were all business. And that's the feeling. That's the energetically. I'm not saying, I don't know if his mom's from the Caribbean or not, but energetically, that's a feeling of, like, those women that I had worked with. Kind, honestly, kindest women. and they really took such good care of the kids in the place that I was working at, but they weren't really always nice. That's okay though. I have respect for them. Um, okay. All right, updated list is there. What is your other question? Because I think you paid for 2. She's a rigid school teacher. Okay, so it's like the same feeling of like, nope, we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this mess. This is what has to get done. This is how it has to get done. Yeah, you still have another question. That didn't count for 2. That just was how it rambles and comes through when you ask a question. It's not always quick. Okay. What's your question about? Oh, because you're typing. I worry sometimes because my brother is very rigid with parenting and what he believes is the best lifestyle. Hmm. What's your niece's first name, if that's okay? Well, you don't even have to give me her first name. I feel like she'll be fine. It doesn't mean like some of the sparkle she has now will start to fade around 10 or 11, and not that she won't always. She'll get it back, but around 12, she's gonna like she'll always like. Here's the thing: she'll always follow the rules and toe the line, but she's gonna start developing some resentment for him around 12. Um, and I still feel like she'll follow the rules because it won't be worth the fight, but like deep resentment for him. Um, they won't be close. And that's his doing. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere in her birth chart or his chart, like having like the father. I think the father is the sun and the mother is the moon. That's what it is. Like if you looked at like wherever her sun is in her birth chart, probably some struggle with her relationship with her dad. Um, and I feel like, and here's the thing, like you said she's 7 now. It doesn't mean that she won't have some kind of relationship with him, but she'll really, I mean, she eventually won't have a relationship with him. It'll be, if she does, it's very surface level. And I feel very distant, but she'll be fine, right? Like, um, I do feel like she'll be very close with you, believe it or not. Um, Offer her a safe space for landing. Um, you can always educate her about people like that without having to say it's about him. Um, there will be opportunities. So I'm reminded of like with one of my daughters was having a hard time in middle school, like this past year. And there was one little girl who has a lot of narcissistic traits. I won't call her a full-on narcissist, but traits for sure. And so we just talk about, like, because my goal is to not, you know, my goal is for her to learn to see red flags and trust those red flags and like be like, oh, that's not about me. That's like me, steer clear of that. And learn to really trust her own intuition and trusting that her judgment is safe and good. And I feel like you will be that for your niece. I do feel like her mom is a little bit more I it's like that feeling of when I don't know if I'm not knocking religion, but when there are like more of the new agey evangelical relationships, it's this idea that like the men have all the voice in the family and the wife should be this meek little, and her energy feels that way to me. It feels very shrunken, very making herself as small as possible. I feel like by 19, your niece really won't want much to do with him, but it doesn't mean she won't have a relationship with you. So, the thing that you can do when you support from the outside is like gently let people know when they're in those positions that you're there and you see, but you can't be like, when someone's going through emotional abuse, you also can't like you have to watch what you say, because in a weird way it may make them go in their shell more in order to protect themselves. Because she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't trust herself, and she doesn't know who else to trust. So she doesn't feel safe. Um, was it a different niece? Does he have another one? I just feel like I don't remember the question from back then. That's what happens, unfortunately. I am Fern. If you want to make a payment, that's fine. It's just like a feeling of like her, like the other thing is like you can model healthy relationships and healthy dynamics, and also like sometimes it's just being like a healthy level of respect for her. So she sees that like you and your husband have a healthy relationship, but healthy connectedness looks like, and also what it looks like for someone to treat her in a healthy manner. Um, so you can do all of that and provide good example without necessarily putting her in a position of like bad mouthing your brother, because that can put you in the position of no longer having contact with her since she's a minor. So you model things in different ways, and you open up space for like, hey, if she wants to come and hang out with us for the weekend, um, and you model ways to kind of like move through it safely. I would love to say like, I think your sister-in-law is going to get divorced. I'm not sure. It might be a while before that happens. Because when somebody's going through emotional abuse, it's hard because it's like and what people don't understand if they've never been in an abusive relationship is the person who's abusive is not always abusive. They're not always a monster. They're not always. There are good moments. There are. And so you kind of, it's not like clinging for hope. It's just like it becomes confusing because you think, well, I mean, it's not always bad. Like it's like, I could get through like whatever. Um So it takes her a little longer. And then when it's something like this, it's like somebody has basically, they don't want to hear anything that's negative about themselves or contradictory to what they want or want to do. And so the person who's in the receiving end has to like make themselves as small and invisible in that relationship. It doesn't mean they are in life, but in that relationship for sure. And it also makes them like not really trust other people because you think like, oh, if I could think that I was in love or think that this person loved me, how do I trust that someone else is safe? She may, and things could change, but I still feel like it's a while out yet. I don't think it's anytime soon. It still feels a ways out to me. Um, and that's intentional on his part. And also someone like her, she's probably, unfortunately had more experiences than not with other people that are very narcissistic. Um, it's not that she's weak, it's just that she's kind. And kind people tend to attract people like that. I don't know why. So she's probably very alone and feels very lonely. And it's probably pretty hard for her to let people in because it's also like when you say out loud how you've been treated in a relationship, then you're like, oh my God. Like it becomes embarrassing and you feel shame that you've, tolerated that for so long. And the other thing is the people around him, maybe you see it, but like the other people in their circle, but he's the nicest guy. He's a good guy. He would never, that kind of stuff. And he's probably put her in a position for a long time where he's talked about her or, been very negative about her to even people at work or, his friends that are whatever. So, you know, she's in a tough spot. I'm glad that they see it. And so then what you can do is even when it's hard, you can support her through it. If and when she decides to leave, I still feel like it's a little ways out yet. It's not anytime soon. Um, support her through it so she's not alone. And support her kids through it. Mm. Okay, let me find the list. Catherine, what are your questions? And then Fern will add you to the list. And then I think what I'll do is I'll close the list after Fern. So that way we don't run into too much time and get through all these questions. And then oh, you know what? I'm going to do that. Here's how I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to put, for a pinned comment, I'm going to put list closed, thinking out loud. Okay, so I wrote, y'all see it. I don't know. Tell me if you see it when I pin it. I don't know how these pinned ones look when you're. So let's close for today, but stay and receive a free Oracle card reading at the end. Okay. In my personal statement, should I be using my knowledge base or my anecdotal evidence or to reapply for the counseling degree? I'm actually getting both. And I feel like the reason being is because people like authenticity and connection. And what makes somebody a better candidate isn't always their list of qualifications. Sometimes it's that I have real life experience of like going through this, and yet I still want to do this. I still like whatever, or I think this experience would actually help my future clients because I can relate in a certain way and maybe approach whatever disappointment or whatever when, because people go to therapy when they're going through the stuff. Like most people don't go to therapy when like everything's great, just like most people don't come to readings for me when everything is great. And like my therapist one time I was having a hard time with someone and she was like, well, how does that make you feel? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, she's like, aren't you angry? I'm like, no. I go, I guess I'll just use this experience to be able to help a client in a reading. Like, I think I probably confused her many times going through stuff because I was like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's like I could hold on and be angry forever, but like also, I mean, it's an experience I can use to help somebody else when they're struggling through something. I'm not getting any details, and here's why I don't get details. Like it's a feeling of like learning to marry them. So it's not an and or, it's not a this or that, it's a this and that. And this is like generally what I'm getting, and I don't know if it's something you want to do, but like going into like I use Claude, you can use Chat GPT and say like this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. These are this and this qualifications, and there's this. How would I marry this together to make it more appealing to the reader? Blah blah blah, or like up to make me look like a stronger candidate. And I'm not saying then use that verbatim of what they do, but it's like it will give you the example. Then always ask, like leave open-ended question at the end of whenever you use any kind of AI thing to assist you to help marry it together. But it's just a feeling like you're not supposed to exclude who you are and your experiences for your qualifications, but you're also not supposed to exclude your qualifications, and like it's supposed to be both. You're not a niche, like I always think that's weird about social media. It's like niche down. And I'm like, but nobody's a niche. And like, if you can learn to like, just be you call in the right people. Should be taking my own advice, FYI. But that's what it feels like you're supposed to do. It doesn't feel like, and the reason why when I'm like, I don't know how to give you more detail because so like as a reader and everybody who does readings, whether it's tarot or whatever, what you get intuitively is you're a filter. And so it filters through the experiences you have. And I don't really have a frame of reference for that. Just like I have a client that's in finance and she's one of my regulars, and I don't have a full frame of reference for finance because I don't really do finance, but I also don't know what that corporate world looks like when you're inside an office and cubicle. So like I get it, things shown to me in diagrams rather than like, and so I'm like, I don't know, I just see clusters of people and pods. And so I don't know how they're fully broken down, but it's like, this is what I see. And this is the movement I see. Same for another client I had. And so like, but if you want to go into like retail, I've done retail, so I can do that, or medical stuff. I can be much more detailed because I have a finer sieve to run that through and give you more detail. But it doesn't, I just don't get it for other things. You want to talk about like, all the, anything that I've researched heavily because it's a special interest of mine, I can give you much more detail on it. But you want to talk about programming and I can't tell you shit about that. Like, not really. So it's like a lot of feelings and colors and things like that. Will I begin my clinical spring of 2025? I feel like, well, we've already missed spring of 2025. So I think you mean 2026. And then that's a yes, because I feel like it's in 2026, not 2025. Will I get to start my naturopathic sitter training next year? And will it be financially fruitful and emotionally life-giving? I'm not laughing at you. Because then like my guides go, well, I mean, it's still a job. So like, I feel like, I'm leaning towards the fall of next year for that one. And I feel like, yes, it will be financially, it's a slow go first financially. And it will feel more fulfilling for you. However, it's still a job and still frustrating at times. So like, I love doing readings. I love this so much more than doing nursing. I loved nursing, but not like all the bureaucratic crap that went with it. I also didn't love like um people's ego trips, and I didn't want to have to do committees and stuff like that. Like I just wanted to go and be a bedside nurse. That was like all I cared. Like I didn't want to be in charge of anybody. I want to figure out short staffing or assignments. Like I just wanted to be a bedside nurse. Have my patients go and do my assignments and all that stuff. But like this is like, I love doing this. I love empowering others. I love teaching others how to like develop their own intuition and grow in their own stuff. But there are aspects of this that still become job-like and sort of frustrating. I have turned clients away. Like I had one woman we had 3 readings, and they're a couple months apart, and it was like the same reading every time. And I finally said to her, I was like, you have to go work on this stuff and like work on these blocks and work on the stuff that's like going to help you grow emotionally and spiritually, or I can't read for you again because it's going to be the same reading over and over. And like that to me is exhausting. Doing the same, like when people are help seeker, help rejectors, like they want things to get better, but then it's like doing the work is too scary for them. And I'm all about movement and growth. And so that becomes a job, like, like, oh, um, so it's like, there's going to be aspects of it that are still job like, there's paperwork and there's accounting and there's, keeping up your business license and all your licensures and things like that. Like that's like not the fun part of it. But overall, do I feel like it's fulfilling? Sure. Sorry. Welcome. Okay, Devry, you're up, and then Amanda, but you have a different screen name. If you want to, Amanda, if you want to get your question ready, I think you might have typed it initially, but that way I don't have to scroll all the way back and look for it. Devry, if you're still here. I just thought about Allie. Maybe she'll pop in. I haven't seen her in a while. Let me see. Hi, Devry. What's your question? And then Amanda, if you want to get your question ready. Okay, so I have a hard time. Let me see if I can find it. Sometimes it's the app of seeing. Oh, you wanted to know about the job in August because you ended up resigning from this one because it just your heart wasn't in it. Is that correct? Shoot. Let me see if I can just find the email so I can make sure there's no more details I'm missing. Mm. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting 3. So I don't know if that means August 3rd or the 3rd week in August. I feel like it'll be a temporary job. I don't feel like it's one you absolutely love. And I gotta be honest, I don't know if there is like a perfect job that you're gonna like just love. I feel like there's gonna be one that feels like it's more tolerable than others. I feel like I don't know if it's just a line of work you're in where it feels like just like I feel like you see things being mismanaged or like things could be more efficient. And so the lack of efficiency bothers you and annoys you. And then also just the feeling of like, I don't know if micromanaged is the word, unnecessary oversight might be a better word, or unnecessary check ins, like your work speaks for itself. And yet there's like this, they have this like weird little procedural things that don't fully make sense. Yeah. So I feel like you're going to kind of run into that a lot given the areas that you're working in or looking for jobs in. And so it's sort of like learning to resign yourself to the fact of like that's just sort of how it is and like I can allow myself to be frustrated by it or I can just accept like yeah, that's how it is and it's stupid and I know it's stupid and it could be a lot better, but also I'm not in a position to like actually make change on that one. And so I don't know. Have you thought about I know I think I've said it before, but, like, I just like the idea of, like, doing, being an online assistant for somebody. Like, you don't have to be there to be their assistant, but you're, like, doing things online for them. Like, you might do well at that. Allie, I'm not kidding you. Y'all, did I not just say like, huh, weird, Allie's not been here in a while. Like she just popped in my mind and she said hello. That's how it works, y'all. That is intuition. That is psychic connections. Yeah. I don't know if it's like August 3rd or the third week of August. I believe it. And I don't think that it's you or there's something wrong with you. I just think that's sort of how the market is right now. Allie, you have to watch this back because, like, literally not less than 5 minutes ago, I was like, oh my God. I was like, said something about you. I was like, oh, weird. Allie's not here. She hasn't been here in a while. And then, like, here you are. These are the little ways that you know that you're intuitive, people. Like it's not all the big Hollywood stuff. It's not, getting the predictions. It's like that's the ways that we know we're interconnected and energetically connected with other people. Please don't hold me to for sure for August, but that's what I got. I felt 3. So I don't know if that means the third week or the third. And I always like whenever it's like these ones, I don't know why loved ones don't bother me giving information on them, but the job ones stress me out especially when it's someone needing a job and like they're looking for a job. And those are the questions honestly that stress me out the most because like I don't mind the medical ones. Like I don't, but because I feel like to me it's like it's your livelihood. You need to pay bills. Like and that to me puts me in a little bit of an energetic tailspin of like worry. I got to be honest. So I'm like, I get the 3, I get August or the third week of August. And like, I really don't want to be wrong about that. I mean, y'all have seen, I don't know what his latest Jeep on here. He asks a lot about that. And then when I'm wrong, I feel terrible because I also know like you're looking to me for that insight. But I appreciate you being here and trusting me, Jeffrey. I want you to know that. And I hopefully haven't let you down too much over the years. Okay. Amanda, you want to write your question? Isn't that weird? Like there's other people who are like, I won't answer baby questions or I won't answer health questions or I won't answer relationship questions. I'm like, you can bring those on. I don't mind those. The time frame of finding a job. And I think it's also probably because I grew up poor and like understanding what it is to really not have money and like watch my mom struggle and like understanding what it is to stretch a dollar or like what bills can I pay now and hold off on others later. And it's like not a fun way to live. Or, I mean, I even my sister dealing with how do you move around stuff and like having creditors call and, you know, all of that stuff. We lost our house. We were foreclosed on when I was in 3rd grade. So like all of that stuff. So when people ask me the job ones, it like sends me into a little bit of a like, I don't want to be wrong. Okay. I'd like any guidance messages for my deceased mom, Peggy, please. Okay. Immediately when I read your mom's name, my stomach hurts really bad. Did she have stomach issues? And also maybe some swallowing issues. Or, I mean, it could be a thyroid, but I'm leaning towards having swallowing issues because it just, I don't know. It felt almost like I had a hard time swallowing or I couldn't swallow. She had an overactive thyroid. Okay. I'll read your thing in a minute, Allie. With her anxiety, would she complain of her stomach being upset, or do you know if like she would get like a nervous tummy? Because I'm getting like I got a lot of pain in my stomach. She had more than just an overactive thyroid though, because I feel like she had other hormonal imbalances. Mm. Do you know if she had Hirschism, where you grow more facial hair, or she had to like wax, or she's showing me that like I feel like there was more imbalance than just that. I'll get to like the message part. I just want to know that I'm connecting with her energy, so it's gonna feel like I'm kind of floating around here, but I want to make sure I have Peggy. It's interesting because I feel like she was very harsh about her own looks, like was very critical of herself and the way she looked. But I feel like she was. It's funny because like she's showing me as someone who has like she's like chin hair, but I feel like it probably wasn't really that bad, and she was actually very beautiful. But like she was very critical about herself. She was put on life support many times for emphysema, swelling problem. That could be the swelling problem. Yeah. You know, the other thing with the stomach pain is if you have emphysema, she might have like, I might have, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump y'all. Please don't get motion sick. Um, when you say it's funny because like she's showing me sitting up in bed with a nasal cannula. Did she have a nasal cannula at home? Because I don't feel like this is a hospital setting. And then you know there's that trend on TikTok if you're on it, and it's like there's a song. It's like "Cause I'm a survivor." Yeah, and it's like that. They'll show like a. They said my dad was a. I said my dad was a like whatever, and they thought it meant this, and then it's like then they show this like amazing accomplishment or terrible disastrous thing, and it's like airball, holy airball. It's like the song that goes with that one. Um, but it's this idea of like she was on oxygen therapy 24/7. I still think she's showing me this other stuff. I feel like she's just she's making me very aware of her third eye right now, and feeling like this to me is intuitively she's very clairvoyant. She would have had dreams that came true or had visions of things. um, and I feel like she spoke about those things with you. I even feel like on some of those times where she was put on life support, there was an idea of like her knowing it wasn't her time or reassuring you it wasn't time. She's showing me something like a flower that kind of looks like those purple thistles. You know what those are? I feel like she was gifted. She had them. I'm like talking to her. I'm like, so do you have guidance? Do you have anything? And she's like, no. And I know that's disappointing to hear, but she's sort of saying it this way. Like, I was just, you looked at me as being wise, or because I was like 5 steps ahead of you in life, but I could only give you on like the path I had already been or the mistakes I already made. I could only give you insight to that, but you're taking a different path than she did. Um, like yours is a more enlightened path. Yours is a like coming from a different place because you had better tools and better supports than she had growing up. Um, like she's talking about men and relationships and feeling like maybe she didn't always make the best choices. Um, but you make better choices because she made sure to instill in you a good sense of self, like not to tolerate things. She was so okay. Oh, she's so young. Your grandmother said I gained my intuitive gifts from her. That was her mom. Yeah. So I do feel like she was clairvoyant. Like she's showing me that, having dreams and stuff. And again, it's like knowing it wasn't her time. Even if she didn't talk about her gifts, like, so people have asked me a lot, like, do people in my family have this ability? It's like, well, yes and no, not to the extent that I have, but also I don't think anybody else will ever really like took the chance to like grow and practice and do it the way I'm doing it. My one sister is on the other weird spectrum of like all of this psychic stuff is of the devil, but she's also not mentally well. Um, she can watch these. She can't comment if we're blocked. Um, but like my on my dad's side of the family, my grandmother would have visions and see things and know that things were going to happen. My great grandmother would have visions and see things and know that things were going to happen. And my mom said my other great grandmother, her mom's mom, apparently was some kind of healer. So I don't know. I don't know that it necessarily runs in families. More so that like if people are open in families to the abilities, then you have more room for growth. And my mom's side of the family was not as open, as my dad's was a little bit more mystical, sort of. So more people had abilities, right? They would talk about it a little bit more. Um, yeah. So I think her idea is like when I say she doesn't really fully have advice or guidance because now you're going to go places that she wasn't able to, especially because she passed so young. Um, I feel like I sent a message to me right before she died intuitively, and I feel like she shared a vision with me on my 40th birthday. Yeah, but like I just want to say that I feel like it's okay to just accept that was a message. I think so many times when we're doing this work, um, that we sort of want that outside validation because we doubt it, and yet we know it's still real. Like I totally understand where that comes from. And I do feel like, honestly, very quickly, you're gonna not need somebody like me to be like give you a message about her, because you'll just know that it is what it is. Like an event will happen. I'm gonna share this story with you so that you'll understand. Like, I've always had dreams that have come true, always. Since I was little bitty, I can remember having dreams that came true, or just knowing things. And it wasn't until like 2 weekends ago where I was like, oh, now I get this. So I've said for a long time that, like, I believe that we come down here to experience certain things, and that some things happen and they may be terrible and sad. And sometimes that includes death, but like death is also a part of life. But that we experience those things because we're supposed to experience them. And there are things that, and I used to say, like, it's like college, we choose a major and there are certain courses you have to take towards that major. And then there's electives. And I think the electives really are the way we manifest things, right? That's the electives. But I also feel like there are certain aspects that we are supposed to experience until we, like, once you learn the lesson, then you move on and you don't have to experience. And that can also be where the manifesting comes in, because you've learned about self-concept work and that you don't have to keep suffering through things and all of that stuff. But I also think there's certain aspects that will happen no matter what. And I think that's a lot of times around loss. And because I've had a lot of dreams around like experiences of loss, or some of them are not others, but anyway, so like 2 weekends ago I was in San Antonio for my uncle's funeral, and I was like, oh, like all of these experiences I had on that weekend were actually dreams that I had about those events. Like many dreams that I had that then happened and came to fruition on that weekend. But I also know that I've done a lot of manifesting and seen time shifts happen since I had those dreams. And I believe that we are supposed to experience certain things and they will happen across multiple timelines, whether we like it or not. And there was a point to this. Oh, it was this idea of like, something will happen where you'll solidify and then fully 100% trust that you are connecting with her. And it doesn't necessarily, it won't be about somebody giving you a message, but an experience that you have. You're like, it is undeniable, and I can talk to her whenever I want, and I don't need that outside validation for this. It's hard because I was not with her when she died. I didn't get to say goodbye or how sorry I was from our last fight, which was the last time I saw her. Okay, so here's the deal with that. Because I've done so many readings where it was like there was a fight, da, da, da. She knows. You don't have to hold on to that at all. That's the other idea of like having had all these precognitive dreams about knowing when people are going to die. Like, it doesn't mean that you aren't still going to experience human stuff and go through it. And also, it doesn't matter what you do or anybody else does, that moment in time is meant for them to pass. Like, that's their exit point. And if it wasn't meant to be, it wouldn't have been. And so learn to take that off of yourself. Have the conversation with her. She already knows. You just said it. She's heard it. You're sorry. And she knows that. And she knows that because she got to experience that fight from your side too. Like, if you listen to NDEs, people talking about their near-death experiences, they all say that. That is my Roman Empire when I think about like, and like all of these people committing these huge atrocities that affect millions of people for their own selfishness and their own gain and their own hoarding mentality of greed, that they're going to one day have to experience that. And they're not experiencing it just like a one-on-one relationship. They're experiencing it from the pain and suffering that they have caused like on a snowball, million plus people, they're experiencing that. That's like literally what I think about a lot. Whenever they pull some of this stupid crap, I'm like, ooh, that's going to suck to experience that on the other side. Like, that is going to be, oof. Hi, Linda. Long time no see. And so, and I also know that I can tell you that from having helped people when I was a nurse, when they cross over and there's DNRs and there's all that other stuff and the family misses things, it's like, if you were meant to be there, you would have been there. If she wanted you to see in that moment, you would have been there. But there's so many times where like they quick sneak off into spirit world because they don't want everybody to be there. They just want to do it quietly, and they don't want to put you through that, and they don't want to go through that. So I worked in a long-term care facility as a travel nurse. It was a pediatric one. And there was a mom and a little boy that I became close with, and he was nonverbal, and but like I know he astral traveled, and his mom was like way open to talking about that stuff. And I was, um, grateful that I was able to actually go to his funeral. His mom invited me to that, and I was grateful to be able to celebrate his life with her. And um, but she called me one day and said, "Oh, we made him," and I was no longer working at the facility. She said, "We made him DNR," and I said, "Okay." And then the next time she called me, and I just answered the phone. I said, "He's gone." She goes, "How did you know?" And I said, "Because I told you the last time we talked." Or not the last time, because it was one time when we were talking about when she was talking about making him DNR. I said, "I want you to understand, he is waiting around for you. And when you decide you're ready, that's when he's going to go." And I said, "I told you when you decided you were ready." So when she decided she was ready, it was okay. He could pass. He didn't wait 2 weeks. That was it. Um, People make those choices. Well, I'm going to tell you that she wouldn't have told you to do that in life. I mean, my feeling is that she's like, I wasn't ever telling her where to go or what to do in life. And so it's not my job to do that now. I genuinely feel like just digging in deep and learning to like connect with your higher self. That's part of your journey, is your spiritual growth and trusting yourself. Um, like I feel that for you individually. I mean, everybody should do that. That's like a good thing, right? But like I genuinely feel like, I bet if you went on your astrological chart, part of that is learning to go within and trust yourself. It's on my chart, by the way. I don't know which one it is, which like I can't remember, but like I know that that's part of my chart. You will be incorporating your spiritual work in your big picture, though I don't know that it'll be like your main income. Oh, there you go. So it's like I know that feeling of like wanting somebody to tell you where to go and what's the next thing to do. I've been there. Like I've had many arguments with my guides. I've had many arguments, and the truth is like there is nothing you're supposed to experience certain things, but then also you're not. Like there is no have to. You can always catch it in the next life. But there are certain things that will inevitably happen. Part of that is death and the loss of others and the lessons that we learn through that. Maybe it's my Pisces moon, but I can't remember. I'm Pisces moon, Cancer sun, and Aries rising. So, like Virgo, Venus, Virgo. Wait, was it Venus and Virgo, Mars and Virgo? I think my south node is in Pisces. I guess that would make my north node in Virgo. So you have more than one guide, and your guide is also one of your guides is also going to be your higher self. And my guides are kind of quiet too, honestly. Like sometimes, I mean, kind of. I use that loosely. Um, but because a lot of it is like standing in your own power and like doing that for yourself. I got a lot of Virgo. It's like funny, like when there's things that'll be like, look to this and that. I'm like, well, they're in the same damn sign. Like, so I guess that means I'm supposed to be organized. I like love in an organized way. Clear, concise, organized. I don't know. I can't remember what the Mars is. Yeah. So I don't know. The feeling I get around what do you mean you want direction? You want direction for like, what I'm telling you is and this is so annoying when they do this, when they're like, well, I can't tell her that. Like, that's not my job to do that. The other thing is like, you're going where she never went. And we want guidance from loved ones, but you have to recognize it's like, they weren't that evolved. Look for guidance from your higher self or your guides. And you can do that through meditation. I think part of that is learning to stretch and grow your own intuition and do that. So it's like, I know it just sounds like a cop out that I'm like, you're not getting that from me. And I always hated when I had people say that to me. I was like, I just want you to tell me, make it easier. I think that's a human thing to want. Just give me the directions. Just tell me how to do it and I'll do it. That's fine. I'll follow it. There's not always growth in that. And then the other aspect of it is like, this is why I love the law of assumption, because it becomes a puzzle to me. And I love solving puzzles and problems. And because I feel like it makes my brain happy. But like puzzling out like, oh, that's an interesting belief system I have around myself. Where did that come from? Why would I believe that? Oh, well, okay. So like, how do I shift that? Like, you can do it through affirmations, whatever, but it's like, how do I heal that? Like to me, it's like through observation and then that kind of stuff. I really enjoy that. And I'm learning to enjoy the process of like not always knowing the directions it's going and then being like, and then just throwing out there. It's like in the universe. So if I'm not sure and I'm looking for guidance, it's like, or I want to develop something, but the affirmations aren't working. I just go like, oh, okay, thanks for showing me how easy it was to solve that. Like if I'm not sure exactly how to manifest it, because I don't know exactly what I want it to look like. And I also don't want to put so many restrictions or be like, well, it can only come in this way. So I'm like, thank you for showing me how easy it was to manifest this. And then trusting that so one of my things that I had put into a hypnosis tape for me was around my histamine intolerance and stuff. And I'm like, I'm now realizing like it's really gotten so much better. Like I can tolerate so many more foods now. There's still some that I have a problem with. And I'm like, oh, like it wasn't that like I magically woke up one day and it was fixed. It's that I was intuitively sent down routes of finding the things that would heal me. Right. So like the zinc and the vitamin C and vitamin D. And then, the last thing I cut out was sugar, like added sugars. Like I still eat fruit and things like that. And it doesn't mean I never have added sugar, but it does mean it's like much less often, and recognizing like that's actually a histamine issue. So like, again, it's not like you just wake up because you've manifested something. It's that it leads you down the path to get to that. And it may take action, and it may just take getting the right information or the right people. It is frustrating. Yeah. So I'm going to say this to you, right? First of all, you're going to be fine being single. And they're like, and she's not going to be single that long. But that's where like law of assumption and like working on your self-concept work and like just deciding like I can trust myself. I can trust myself. And like, if you don't feel like you can say you can trust yourself right now, no, but I know I can trust my guides, and I know my guides won't let me get too far off course, because really they won't. Like, I can tell you when I was in the dating world, holy shit, did I make some bad choices? Like, oof. And like, they didn't let me stay with shitty people too long. Like, they were, they were always sort of like pointing stuff out. And granted, everything is your choice, and you like can go down those paths or whatever, and you can be stubborn. But like, I literally, like, I had been hoping this guy would keep dating me. He was so bad. He was so bad. And like, I like woke up one night in like the middle of the night to like feeling like I was being shaken and hearing one of my male guides voice being like, "It's not going to happen." And I was like, okay, guess that one's like not it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So like, they'll guide you. They will. And the other part is like, you can decide, you can affirm, like, no matter what, I know I'm always okay. You can just start deciding that. And like, even when things are kind of crappy, you're like, oh no, this is just part of the bridge of incidents to get me to that. And I know it sounds weird. Fucking works. That's what I love, the law of assumption. Oh my God, man. I did more than kiss them. But, and a few would be an understatement. I mean, I learned. You live and learn. You live and learn. You live and learn. Hi, McKeegan. You live and learn, And yeah. You'll get better at trusting your own intuition for yourself. And here's how, like, a great way to do it. This is for everyone, is like, start writing down all the times that you didn't listen to your intuition. Write down how it felt like it came in. Whatever it is, write it down. Like, it doesn't matter if you didn't listen to it, your intuition came in. Your intuition is quick and it's quiet. And then when you get little things, write down what you get when you get little hits of intuition. You don't have to listen to it, none of it. Just write it down. Again, it's quick, it's quiet, it's calm. It's never like this, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's not. I can tell you, I drove behind a truck one day, a pickup truck in Houston. I think I was on 610. And I got a quick image of he had plywood in the back of his little pickup. It was a smaller pickup. And I saw it like flying out of his thing. And I was like, okay. Like, totally calm. Didn't worry, didn't change lanes, didn't do anything. And then it flew out. But I was far enough behind that I was fine. But again, calm. Got another thing where my friend and I were driving on College, and I was like, oh, you're going to fly off the highway underneath that underpass. And then I was like, okay. Like, and so it is. And that's the thing about intuition. It can be about bad stuff, and yet it still feels super calm. It was a thermonuclear disaster when you didn't listen. Wait, are you serious? I saved my family from a bad car accident on my way to my birthday dinner. It made me so sick to my stomach as I knew to listen to it. I mean, that can just be the ego part of yourself, not like ego, but like, the ego, the ego part of yourself, that sort of whatever. I just feel like I get not being able to trust it for yourself, but trust that, like, you can throw out there too. Then, like, I trust my guides to give me the information and make sure that X, Y, and Z happens. I got this information. Can you send me another message that validates that in some other way that, like, it's undeniable. So you may end up having a conversation with somebody. You may overhear a conversation from somebody talking about that exact same thing. And then I'll go, can you just reaffirm it again? I'll ask for it again. They'll do it. Because I get that. And when I first started doing readings professionally, I was scared. And so I was like, well, I'm scared trusting myself that I'm getting this stuff, but I know I can trust my guides. I know they won't lead me wrong. And that's one way to move through it. Oh, hyperbole is that. Okay. I'm like, wait, what? I tend to be very honest about things and very direct about things. So like, I just assume other people are too. And it gets me into a little bit of trouble. It doesn't mean I'm like, gullible is not the word and naive isn't the word. It's just that expectant of like, why would somebody lie to you? But they do all the time. There are some people that are just fucking allergic to the truth. Always incredibly embarrassing, and Spirit had to bail you out of a bad situations. It's much better to listen to your intuition than to learn painful and unneeded lessons. Absolutely. But also, sometimes you don't learn to listen to your intuition without going through those stupid things. You know? Like, that's where we learn and grow. That's why I said at the very beginning of this, I was like, unfortunately, that's the way the world is. Like, that's the way this experience of life is that we learn through the crappy parts. That's where our growth comes from. If everything's going along great, everything comes to you easily, there's not really any growth there. Right? The growth is in the struggle. And so it's not to say like welcome the struggle, but it's also when you're in it, just be like, remind yourself, I know, even if you can't see what the lesson is, like, I know there's a lesson to learn in this and I'm going to get through it. I'm going to be okay. And acknowledge it sucks going through it. Like, it's okay. It's like, it's weird, I think, to not acknowledge that things are shitty. And to be like, everything's great. I mean, you don't have to tell everybody your trauma dump, right? Like when someone's like, how are you? You don't have to trauma dump all of you. You're like, yeah, it's good. It's going, like, things are pretty good right now. You don't have to, it doesn't mean you're not acknowledging that shitty stuff. You just don't have to acknowledge it with everybody. But like, you can be like, yeah, this part of my life is really fucking hard right now. And I am having a hard time. It doesn't mean you're not going to get out of it. It doesn't mean you're manifesting more of that, but like acknowledging that at least also helps you go, thank you for showing me a way out of this. Thank you for showing me how it can be better. Even if I can't visualize it or see it right now, I know that it's possible. And I know you're going to show me how to do it. Guides, universe, whatever, higher self, because we're all a part of it. Like, we are all a part of divine universe, source, whatever you want to put it. I also have fun with like practicing the manifesting stuff and like also like thought transmission and things like that. Cause I just think like it reaffirms to me how interconnected everybody and everything is. And I just think that's cool. You're very welcome. I should move on. Yes. Cause other people are waiting patiently. Thank y'all for being so patient. Like, Annalisa, get to it. Okay. Katrina and Regine, if you both want to put your questions down and I'll move from one to the next. God, turn my heater off. Oof. Another part of my hypnosis thing was I was around ice skating to like help my brain get over the fear of it. And I definitely am less like skittish. And so that's cool. What does the rest of July and August look like? Open for any guidance that comes through. Okay. Do you grind your teeth and have TMJ? Because I just felt really tight here. I know this is not what you're going to want to hear. And I could be wrong and you can manifest differently. I think you might get a summer cold in July. I don't want to say it's COVID. So I would like do the things that you can do now to sort of like preemptively get on top of it. Drink lots of water, get good rest, eat well, vitamin D, vitamin C, all of that stuff. I don't know if you're going to literally be dizzy. It's interesting because I felt kind of dizzy and then I heard she's going to go on a merry-go-round. So there's some aspect that you're going to be dealing with in July. I don't know that it's the sickness or actually going on a merry-go-round, but I just feel like there's an aspect of something I'm dealing with where I feel like I'm just going around in circles about it and not getting anywhere. And then I feel like the 1st of August or the first week of August, I get shot off and finally get like, it does feel like it's a quick exit. And then I'm finally like done dealing with that. I don't know if it's insurance or like work thing, but it's just like this merry-go-round feeling of like over and over and over. And it's like not getting resolved. It's not getting better. It's just circling. It's not even circling the drain, because when you circle the drain, at least you're going down and like some movement out of it. But this feels just like around and around and around. But then I feel like it hits, and August hits, and I'm shot out, and it's like I'm done with it, and I don't have to deal with that anymore. Maybe this is like the same thing, because I said, well, what does she need to know about August? And it's like this, she's been having this feeling of helplessness, and it's like August things are finally happening. I really do. I keep feeling kind of dizzy. I feel like you need to make sure you're well hydrated, and also like, are you pre-diabetic, or is there like an insulin issue for you? I just feel kind of not right is the best way for me to put it. People keep leaving or laid off, and there's no replacements for the work left behind. So it feels just like the same thing keeps repeating. That's probably what it is. I feel like it'll be better in August. Oh, it's a weird cold with coughs. Okay. And it could also be like a double thing. It could be the work thing, but it could also be like it feels like everybody just like keeps passing it back and forth. And then by August, you'll be shot out of it and we'll be done. You're pre-diabetic. Okay. Okay. So please do me a favor, and for yourself, start eating for insulin resistance. 30-minute walk a day, or some sort of like, even after you eat, even if you just like bounce your legs up and down like on your feet, so your calf muscles are getting engaged. That will help bring stuff down, believe it or not. Bring your sugars down. High fiber. The high fiber will really help you. And then obviously you get protein or whatever, but like I feel like fibers are really, really so important. But that just like I kept feeling that dizziness, and that feels like it's really important, especially now because they keep bringing it up, to start taking care of yourself for that. I feel like I want to say this, by the third week of August, I feel like smooth sailing. So it feels like everything sort of calms down and gets a little bit better, but it's just a little bit bumpier until then. Literally saw crystal smooth water. Just recently started changing also my carbs intake for it, and less than sugars, added sugars. Yeah. So something that I've done, because I discovered that I didn't ever get tested for it. I just started like figuring out like my symptoms, and I started eating for it. And then like my being extremely tired all the time went away. But like high fiber first thing in the morning. So I always eat 2 pieces of toast of this carbonate bread, because it's super high in fiber. It's literally 28 grams of fiber together, which is like your daily recommended. And then I get other fiber with, make sure I have fiber with every other meal, and I try to eat it first. But when you're doing that, like you don't crave the carbs as much. It just kind of goes away. And the craving for sugar and stuff kind of goes away. And then also just drinking more water will help lower your blood sugar. Yeah. So start like eat go high fiber in the morning. That's like the first thing I have. So my breakfast would be like 2 pieces of this toast. I put almond butter on it. It's unsweetened. And then I put, because I can't have peanuts because they create histamine issues for me and stomach aches and everything else. But so I do almond butter and then the toast. I don't put anything else on it. And then I'll usually have a piece of fruit and then something with protein in it. So either a cottage cheese, or, because I'm not like a big meat person, I'll eat meat, but like it's not like my go-to. especially, and I can't eat eggs. And eggs don't have that much protein in them anyway. And then I find yogurt that is lower in added sugar. I don't like the way the like sucrose and all that, not sucrose, when they add like stevia and stuff, like I don't like the way that tastes. So I'd rather not eat it. And now like, and then if I want something sweet, I actually grab like a small square of like dark chocolate, that it's enough sweetness for me. And the fruit actually tastes way better. It's like super sweet if I need something sweet. An apple. Carrots are your friend. Cruciferous vegetables are your friend. Um, but yeah, but the tiredness has gone away. Like I did take a little nap now, but I recognize that I just didn't sleep that well last night. Walking is huge, by the way. I sleep much better if I walk. I don't like I think that my intuition says like the night sweats that women get, especially perimenopausal night sweats, are more closely related to being like pre-diabetic and having insulin resistance issues than they are actually the hormonal stuff. I think they're more. That's just me. That's my own intuition. Don't quote me on it. Entertainment purposes. Get a walking treadmill. Or do like, even if like there's actually studies on the calf raise thing. Like I actually sort of discovered that because when I was doing when you do the sugar drink test, like I failed it for my oldest daughter when I was pregnant with her. I failed it. So the second one I was like, well, I can't walk and I can't drink, but I can keep my sugar down, because I was like, I didn't want to have to go. I didn't want gestational diabetes. Like I didn't want to have to like, that's so stupid. But you actually bring your sugar down by wiggling. And yeah. So, and then I ended up like bottoming out. It's like so low by the time. So just and yeah, I just like would like bounce my legs. That's like enough to help you bring it down. Believe it or not, there are studies for it. So you just like bounce your legs. So if you're sitting in your chair and you can't get up and walk after you eat, and say you have to sit, like just bounce your legs at least once an hour for a couple minutes. Do that. That will help maintain it. But fiber is also your friend. And drink water. Do it for a week. Come back next week and tell me how you feel. Like be really. And then here's the other thing is like, I treat sugar like I decided to treat sugar like a personify and decide like okay, especially when you get a craving for it. It's like, okay, remember we talked about this. Like we have like, you're not really good. We had a great relationship and I can hang out with you sometimes, but really you're not great for me overall. Like if you just do that, you kind of move through. And again, the sweetness, you not have the super uber sweetness. Plus I'm telling you, the fiber makes you just not crave it the same way because it feeds your gut differently. You're welcome. Okay, let's keep moving on. Sorry. Regine, what's your question? And Nancy, you asked about moving this year. Um, I feel like it might actually be the beginning of 2026 that you move. It doesn't mean you don't start the process before it, but I feel like finalization and moving in is like the beginning of 2026. That's for you, Nancy. Same city, I actually feel like. And it feels like super unexpected. Like you wouldn't have even have thought of living in this area, and it sort of popped up and you fell in love with it. I don't know that it's on the market yet or whatever, but that's what I feel. Okay, do you still, oh, sorry. Going to my first. Kayla. So the list is closed. You can see I have a pinned one that I closed the list a while ago just so I can move through this. But hang out because I have 7 different Oracle card boxes you can choose from, and I'll do an Oracle card reading from you. And then you can subscribe to my emails and get reminded that I'm on here because I come on here live every Sunday and do readings. And you can catch me next week if you want. But you can get a free card reading today if you want. And otherwise, the readings are $12 a reading, and 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Okay. All right, Regine, sorry. Going to my first cruise ever Thursday. Fabulous. So grateful. What does my guide want me to know? Did I say something about something tropical to you a while ago and you weren't sure? I wonder if it was the cruise. Well, I'm going to tell you something I don't think your guides are going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you. And you were like, oh, I don't know. I don't know of anything of that yet. Look at that. What do your guides want you to know about the cruise? Girl, I'm not going to tell you about what your guides are going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Hand sanitizer. So many kids would always call it hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer. I need hand sanitizer. So hand sanitizer. I love the idea of a cruise. I have to tell you this, but I'm also super creeped out about cruises. This is like, and I'm not a germaphobe. Like, I'm not. But there's something about cruises. Okay. Is this like a bigger ship that has like a mall? And I don't know. I just feel like it's a bigger ship. Because I feel like I'm in the center of it. It's just big. Are you 3 days at sea before you hit your first port? Because I felt something about 3 days. I feel like you're going to really have a good time. I actually even feel like you may do some card readings for some people. Like maybe you bring your cards with you, like kind of for fun, and someone sees you and like, oh, and then you do a few card readings for people. It's 5 days. It's the whole cruise is 5 days? There's something about the third day then, because I got something about 3. Here's the thing. I don't feel like, oh, you're going to meet the love of your life and it's all romantic or whatever. I just feel like it's a really good experience. And you're meeting really good people. And I don't know that it's like major connections, but it's like an important experience for you to have. Okay. There's someone I feel like you're going to make a friendship with on that, or a connection with on that will lead you to a different connection that's important in the future. But it's like developing a friendship on there that you remain in touch with somebody there. I don't understand that at all. I don't know, but it feels like they connect you with somebody else important in the future. And I don't know if they're from your area or the people that they know that will connect you with are from your area. But I feel like this is somebody that you'll actually remain friends with beyond the trip. You're not going by yourself. You're going with people, right? Okay. You were after Regina on the list, but sometimes when I know what your question is ahead of time, and I'm waiting for somebody else to type and I've got the answer right there. Like it's just your question was pretty easy and concise to dig into because it was not like this open-ended question. It was pretty concise. That was the answer to yours. Yeah. You're welcome, Regine. So sometimes I'll just skip ahead because I'm waiting and I'll just put you first. Like I actually got the answer to your question. Well, part of it, the are you going to move the share when I read it up all the way at the top, but I waited because it was way too ahead of other people, if that makes sense. But while I was waiting for Regine to type, I had no problem answering it. Okay. CB, you're up. And then Tammy, I think you wrote yours ahead up at the top. If you just want to you're welcome, Nancy. There you go. Questions. Okay. I recently felt blindsided by my attorney's request for my spouse's discovery because she didn't disclose she requested, and I felt exposed. I don't think it was her intention, but I felt low about what happened. I'm not trying to be unnecessarily combative and was curious what you saw. Okay, wait. I want to make sure I'm understanding the question. So, she felt like you were digging through your 5 years of financials or digging through his 5 years of financials? His. And shouldn't I think I'm like confused because I feel like my logical brain is like, shouldn't she know what that is? Like, shouldn't she have that information? Did you have a different attorney when that discovery went through? It's the same. Um, okay. I so here's the thing. I think it's sort of SOP, standard operating procedure, to ask for that stuff, especially when asking for child support, to see if maybe she can get more or less, like see what she thinks the judge will award or etc., or like what they can go after. I just think she didn't, because it's so one of those standard things, she just didn't think to mention to you until then. Right, but the trust shouldn't. The feeling I get is the trust shouldn't be factored into it. And maybe I'm wrong on that. Um I I that you moved funds. Uh my sense is, yeah, they'll ask about it, but that it ends up being like a nothing burger. Like they're not like, "Oh, you're trying to hide stuff." Cuz my sense is it sort of was a legitimate move. because I keep feeling like that's tied to your aunt or whoever you're sort of involved with. Like, I don't, it feels like it wasn't made to hide money from anybody. It feels like it was made to like ensure somebody else was okay through this too. If that doesn't resonate, I don't know. I still feel like it's not, I still feel like, I don't, I know you're worried about it being flagged, but I don't feel like, oh my God, you're screwed. I just feel like, I was like, it just, that feeling of like, it'll be okay. I feel like it's not going to be flagged the way you think it will be. And the truth is, like, I get the idea of being blindsided, but also your attorney should know everything. And if your attorney didn't ask for that, I'd be highly concerned that they weren't doing their job. So my uncle was an attorney, and my his three oldest children are all attorneys. One of them, his oldest daughter, doesn't practice, but and then the two of those three are also married to attorneys. And my aunt was an attorney. It's like a whole family of attorneys. So like when we went to the get together after his um, burial, it was like a whole bunch of attorneys. I think there was like maybe four of us that weren't. Like it was just a whole, like, his life. He never stopped working. He literally worked till the day he died. He was a tax attorney. And um, my cousin told a story about a lesson my other cousin taught him about, like, there's attorneys and there's lawyers, and lawyers are people who practice the law, and attorneys are people who actually like advocate for people. I thought that was interesting. But I feel like she's doing her job, and she wouldn't be a good advocate for you if she didn't have all of the information. Um, she was waiting for a disclosure. Yeah. I just feel like I just want to say that, like, I don't feel like it was meant to be underhanded. Um, I don't feel like it was meant to. I just feel like it's trying to do her job to the best of what you deserve and her ability. And I feel like you're worried about something that's not going to come to be as an issue. That will affect the child support now or make you look bad in any way. Because I feel like at any move that's really made in the best interest of the children puts you in favor, even if it's something like that. So that decision to create a trust for them with a will and all of that stuff is in the best interest of the children. And communicate that to her, that you need more handholding, you need more clarity, and like, that's okay to say that. I know as a nurse, I remember I had a patient who like freaked out on me one time, and I looked at her and I said, "This is the kind of nurse I am. And if it doesn't work for you, that's totally okay. But then you need to tell me how you need me to be, or how I can be more supportive of you, whatever you need. I'm happy and willing to be flexible on that. But I can't read your mind. And I know the psychic can't read your mind all the time. But I just need you to tell me. And I totally can accommodate to be the best advocate that you need. But I need you to tell me that. And that's what you need to tell her. It's like, I know you're my advocate, and would you be willing to, in the future, approach it this way?" That's fine. So you could say, "I can trust you, but I need a little bit more," and you can keep repeating that. It's like, "I do trust you, and This is what I need. And are you willing to be able to do that for me? I would really appreciate it. I know it's more work in a way, but and it is scary, you know. It's scary. Big transitions and changes are scary, and navigating the law is scary, and hoping that you won't get taken advantage of. And it's scary putting your trust in somebody else that you barely know. And yet, like, we do that all the time. You know, if you take public transportation, you're trusting somebody you don't know to get you there safely. You don't think about it because it's something you do regularly, right? And when you fly in a plane, you're trusting a whole bunch of people, not only the pilots and the airline attendants, but you're trusting the ground crew, and you're trusting um, the people in that building with the spinny thing. Those people that run the who lands and who takes off. Like, you have to trust a lot of people that you don't know, that you won't ever speak to, that you will have no interactions with, to like get you there and your stuff there safely. And so this is like one of those things, like, she's trained for it, and you can do that. And you can also ask her, would you mind just baby stepping a little bit? I would really appreciate that. Yeah. But I want to say that I don't feel like you're making a trust and a will be flagged as a, like, what the fuck? Like, if you took that money and you opened up an eBay E-Trade account and started trading, they will say, but you're not really hiding it. You don't have an offshore account. You just created a trust, put your money into that trust for your children with a will. Um, well, I mean, may I be bold and say this, because we've had a relationship for a while, as you might being my client. Uh, I think out of your own anxiety, it pushes you to want to be in control, because it gives you it, like, to make things move in a fastly or in a certain way, or have an answer, or have somebody do what you want to do, because it gives you a false sense of control. And that usually, in my experience, comes from people who, like, one of my dear friends had a childhood where her mom would put her on a plane and would say, well, I'll tell your dad that you're coming as soon as you're in the air. And so, like, now she has this need to control a lot of things around her. And it used to drive me crazy until she opened up about, like, that experience. And I don't think she ever connected the two of them, but I was like, immediately, I was like, oh, that's why she does that. And so I feel like there's something there where that's there. And, like, but some of life really forces you to just have to, like, sit back and let somebody else kind of run the show a little bit. And um sometimes that micromanaging gets in the way. And yeah, and sitting in conflict can be really hard and uncomfortable, but, like, also, like, sometimes you have to. And I don't think you'll be punished for doing what's in the best interest of the children, especially if that's the angle that you're taking it, right? And that's what I believe that you've done. Um, and, like, knowing that about yourself, being like, it sort of sometimes also allows you to, like, sit back and chill out, because you're like, I know this is like my tough spot. And so, like, I sort of just have to sit in this and, like, go through the process of it. I'm not worried about whether or not your ex sees it that way. And you shouldn't be worried about whether or not your ex sees it that way. You should know how the judge will see it. Because at the end of the day, like, that's where the cards lie. You don't have to worry about his attorney's approach, and you just worry about that you have your attorney. And there's tons of approaches that people will try and make because their job, his job is to argue for your ex. That's his attorney's approach, is to argue for your ex. And but at the end of the day, like, the judge is the one who's like, or the mediator is the one who's like, I'm in the, like, I think the judge has to finalize it, but it's like, yeah, no, this is not, she's not doing this to like hide from you or like keep money away from you. Like, she genuinely just took this money and chunked it away for her kids. So don't worry about that. Like, you can't, you have to look at it like that. Like, his job is literally to be in the best interest of your ex. That's it. That's their job, to be in the best interest of your ex. So of course they're going to, but just because they're going to try doesn't mean they're going to get anywhere with it. And trying to over control that will actually look worse for you than you putting that money aside. So just chill out, sit back, let your attorney do her job. She's doing it in your best interest. And if you need handholding, you ask her for that. But her job is to advocate for you, just as the other attorney's job is to advocate for your ex. And it sucks to sit back and do that, but you can. Feel bad about what? It's okay to feel all those feelings. That's the thing. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be impatient. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be totally chill and okay with everything. Like, all of it's okay, because feelings don't fucking make sense. You know that. They're just feelings. It's okay to be uncomfortable, right? And sit in those feelings. So then don't be controlling and make those mistakes. Just chill out and let your attorney do her job. If she's asking for stuff, let her ask for it. If she's not, whatever. Like, but that is her job. And so to be blindsided, I'm not sure. I think that's more about you, like, wanting it to go a certain way, and it has to go this way, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it might actually work better for you if you don't do that stuff. Tell her to do what she needs to do. That's exactly it. Like, there's all those open cases, like with Blake Lively and all of that stuff. And you see all of this back and forth. And I'm like, ooh, someone's trying to control their attorneys. Like, all of the little shit that they're doing. Like, there's all these filings and stuff. I'm like, I don't think that would happen in any other case. But I feel like those are personalities that are just trying to tell their attorneys what to do. And yeah, your attorney should listen to you, but also you chose them because they know what to do. And so you need to just sit back and allow them to do their job. That's like if you went into a hospital and you started telling, without that knowledge, just started telling nurses and doctors what to do and how to do their job. Like, you can do it, and they sort of have to listen in some aspect of it. But at some point, like, you if they're in the middle of surgery, you can't be telling them what to do. Like, you just have to let them do their job and trust it. You can't be afraid of that. Like, you sort of have to go, well, I played that hand, now let's see where it goes. They're going to find out about that stuff. I mean, that's just what happens. And you just tell her she needs to do what she needs to do. And if you're uncomfortable, you can say, like, be totally honest. Like, I have a hard time sitting in conflict. That's what makes this really hard for me. And I'm trying, like, that's a lesson for you to learn through this. I mean, if you're going to be open with and honest with anyone, your attorney is the person to do that with. That's like, it'd be like going to therapy and not being open and honest with your therapist. How much help are you really helping? Like, are you really getting the therapy that you need and the help that you need? No. And also, going through therapy means that you really have to look at yourself and be brave enough to do that and go, fuck, I got some growing to do. I can tell you, I know people who go to therapy and don't tell them everything because I think I think they think, oh, well, part of their manipulation is saying like, oh, the therapist is going to know, blah, 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 but like about you, but like really, you're going to have to look at yourself when you do that stuff. And that can be scary. But if you're not honest, well, what the fuck is the point? I have a conversation with her and she said she'd retract it, but I did tell her to take it back, but more so wanted to process things. Well, I mean, maybe look at it like instead of saying, "Hey, I'm freaked out about this. Here's why I'm freaked out about this. What are your thoughts?" Because our brains can create chaos unnecessarily. I mean, in my removed part of it, I'm not saying I would do this if I was in it, because who knows if you can see clearly when you're in the situation, but my removed part of it would say, like, that's how I would approach it. I say that, but who knows if I actually would, right? But like from a removed point, like it would be like, hey, I'm freaked out about this. And this is where my brain is going with it. Is this even logical? Is that even a thing? Don't put your mind at ease. Got to go that way. Okay. All right, Miss Tammy, and Makeup and Fern, you guys are last. And then we'll do some card readings if anybody wants. You're welcome. Okay, Tammy, I've got your question. You wrote it already, so I'm gonna what's wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I'm just finishing up readings.
Didn't you already finish?
No. I've got 3 more people asking questions, and then I'm gonna do some little card readings for them.
Wait.
It only looks like me.
Online?
I am on live, but it's just me.
Oh.
Like I only look at me, and then I have typing that I look at. Like people type
Can
messages.
anyone hear you?
People can hear you too. Would you please go upstairs? Did you have fun at the pool?
Yeah.
Any friends there?
Olivia Parmere was there.
Nice. Don't say last names, please. Oh, okay. No last names. Okay. Because everybody can hear. Okay. Vaya con Dios, my friend. Go. I love you. Are you still in your suit?
What?
Are you still in your suit? Are you waiting to shower?
I'm waiting.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too.
Glad you had fun. Sorry. Okay, I got your question. I think you were. Sorry about the interruption. Okay. So the feeling I get about things where I feel like, and I know this sounds weird, but I feel like things are always working out in your favor. It just doesn't feel like it in the moment. Like, because sometimes things have to go a little wonky before they get on the right track. Things will feel better in September, October time. And I feel like everything kind of quiets down for a little while. And then February feels like it brightens up. So maybe it's just more status quo until then. You know, I know you talked about before, like leaving your job. I still feel like you're working or doing something. So maybe it means maybe you go and work in a clinic for a little bit or work for like doing something on the phones, but using, your specialty. Like working for an insurance company or a home healthcare company, but you're not going into homes and working, you're just doing phone stuff. And I keep thinking about your house. It's like maybe you don't rent that house. Maybe you do Airbnb with it or Verbo or something like that. I don't know if any of that resonates for you. I still feel like one of your sons, there's some connection with all of this and one of your sons. So I don't know if he ends up managing like the rental stuff or what. Your daughter-in-law wants you to watch a grandkid. I still feel like whatever you're doing, though, there's money coming in. I don't feel like you're just doing it for free. You don't want to rent it? I get that you don't want to rent it. I think that might be what happens. So I'm not like, I just think just for a short period, and it might even be like rent to buy. I don't know exactly how it works, but I don't know. I think that might be where I get that you want it off your plate. I just feel like it might. No, she will pay you. Yeah. So maybe that's what you're doing. Cause I feel like you're not working. I don't feel like you're not getting any payment or anything. So maybe that's why I kept seeing your son and somehow helping you in some way. I know you want it off your plate. I get it. I just feel like there's something around like rental or something around it. And maybe that's where in February it comes up where it's like it's back on the market or something else. But it is all going to work out. It is all going to get better. It's going to feel better in September. So there may be a little bit more worrying around it, but it's unnecessary worrying, but it like who am I to say like don't worry? Like I know that's what you want me to say, but like that doesn't always alleviate that worry. I am very realistic about all of this. But there's something about September and then yeah, I just don't feel like you're not working, right? I don't feel like you aren't. Yeah, I don't know. The double negative is not working there, I guess. Hi, Rockdown. It's been a while. How are you? Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your mom. Um, I'm going to say this. I can be wrong, and maybe it is a sale by September, and then you have the grandkids in February. But like, I just feel better in September, and then maybe it's that somebody buys it that wants to use it for an Airbnb or a rental. Maybe that's what it is. I just feel like that's what it's going to end up being. So I'm happy to like take a loss on this one and just say to you, I was just terrible because you're like, I just paid for this. Why are you? But I'm saying like I just keep seeing it ending up being an Airbnb or a rental or something over VRBO. So maybe it's just that who ends up buying it from you. Maybe that's in September. That's what their plan is for it. It just doesn't feel like a full-time home for somebody. It's going to be okay though. It's all going to work out. Everything's going to work out in your favor. I wish I could say like I'm getting a big sale. I'm not feeling that. Did someone put in an offer for 420? Or did they talk about lowering it to 420? Tammy, is there something about, did your realtor mention lowering the price to 420 or something about 420? And then Makeup by More. I wish I could say, yeah, he'll totally leave you alone. I feel like there's something with emails with him. So it might go for 420, or somebody offers at 420 and that you take it, something like that. No offer, it's at 440. Okay. So it might be that somebody brings in an offer at 420. And then I feel like maybe you write into the contract with no, like you'll take it, but then there's no, what do you call it? Like when you're like, yeah, I'll take that offer. Like if they want to give a higher offer, and then I'll do these things. Yeah. So it's something like you might get an offer at 420 or something like that. And maybe it's just like the market and stuff feels a little more stable in September. So Makeup by More, again, I feel like with your children's father, I feel like something around emails. So it may just be that he's sending emails that are a little bit, or like a lot of emails, or that aren't very nice. I just don't think he's he's not a kind communicator. I don't know that I feel like he's good at following the orders, especially when they're legal. I don't know that he's fully capable of restraining himself. I don't know that I feel like he's physically violent, but I just feel like he's emotionally and verbally abusive. Taxes and insurance are due in September, so more money out of my pocket. I was hoping not to pay out. I get that. I do feel like you'll get it back. So I don't know what that means. Makeup by More, are you still here? Okay. Fern, what's your question? We'll wait for Makeup by More to answer, and then we're done with the list. So Makeup by More, I feel like you're welcome. Makeup by More, I feel like if you have it withdrawn, I feel like there's just not nice emails and things that come back. I don't feel like he's capable of having very nice communication. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea to say. Can you validate? Can you validate I'm not worried about him being physically abusive. I'm more worried about the verbal stuff. I don't know that it's in the best interest to do that unless there's some stipulation that there has to go through like a one of those apps where like through the court where you communicate where it's like all in this specific app, something like that. I feel like that might be the stipulation where if you withdraw it, it has to be your communication has to be through that. I don't know that it's in the best interest to withdraw, to be honest with you, because I feel like it might just be exhausting and you'd have to like go ahead and reinstate it, and that might be more of an issue. I just feel like until he has new, like, I just feel like he's not really capable. Gotta be honest. I feel like all communication needs to be done through a legal thing that he's not, he like that. Maybe that's the stipulation. Um, I would say, like, even when he has new supply, like a new partner, he's still just not, he's just not capable of being a grown up, you know? Like, he's just not capable of it. Like, ideally you want somebody who, like, why couldn't we just co-parent healthy together? I don't understand what's the issue. It's about our children. There are some people that are just incapable of putting their own egos aside for other people. And I wish I could say to you like, oh yeah, he's going to get better and it's totally fine. But that's not the case. That's not what's going to happen. Oh, I guess do with that information what you will. All right, Fern, let me give you. And then, okay, I'm going to say this. Unfortunately, some people need harder boundaries than others because they like, well, why do you still talk to this person if they've wronged you? Well, because they're not like, they actually listened to me when I set a boundary. And the boundary is not about controlling somebody else, it's about you knowing what is acceptable behavior that you're willing to tolerate. It's not because you're trying to control other people. It's like, I don't want to tolerate that behavior. It's not because I'm going to control you. It's because I'm not like, that's uncomfortable for me. And I'm allowed to know what my comfort level is and say no. And if you don't like it, then you can't be a part of my life. If you can't respect this boundary, then you have to have a restraining order. It's kind of that thing. And I just feel like he needs a harder boundary than other people. And it's unfortunate. And yet he's put himself in that place. That's not you being a meanie pants. That's him not able to like go, oh, that person has that boundary. I had my daughter and one of her friends in the pool the other day, and they were sort of harassing my older daughter and her friends. And I was like, when someone tells you not to touch them, you stop. Like, that's it. That's consent. That's a boundary. And like, if you don't want somebody touching you, you should be able to say stop. And they stop. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, got it. Like, you have to teach people what your boundaries are. And some people aren't going to respect them. And so then you have to make that a firmer, harder boundary. And unfortunately, like a lot of us weren't taught boundaries as kids. We were just taught like super weird things like boys being mean is flirting and they just have a crush on you, or girls being mean and bullies is because they're jealous. Well, like, okay. And like, you just toughen up, and tolerate it. And yet, like, the people who needed the consequences and the boundaries were never given them. And then you were told that, like, well, that's okay. Right? Okay. Fern wants a message, guidance for It's for me to know, right? I feel like, Fern, you are very clairvoyant. Because like just opened wide for me. And they're sort of saying lean into that a little bit more. Don't be so worried. Because I feel like when you start getting that stuff, to remind yourself to breathe through it. They're sort of saying like this might be something new that you're developing, like you've had it earlier, you're sort of developing it now, and they're sort of saying just breathe and relax into it. It gets more comfortable the more often you connect into it. It's like with any skill, the more you practice, the better you get, the easier it feels, the more relaxed it feels. I'm using my own like process of learning to develop my intuition. And it's sort of like when I first used to sit down and do readings, like I used to panic and I'd be like, even private readings, I'd be like, oh my God, I've got to prepare for it. I've got to meditate beforehand. I need to like connect in ahead of time. I got to do all these other things. And now I start coming, I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, there's no preparation. I hate to tell you that, like, it is how I work. I'm like, did I get the message up quick enough? Like, but that's like I don't like come down here and meditate and do all this stuff. I like to hold my comfort rock. That's about like all the preparation I do. Because I've done it so much, I know that my abilities aren't going to just suddenly turn off. I'm not going to ever get, and like, I also have reconciled the fact that like sometimes stuff's not going to come through as much, and that's okay too. That doesn't make me a bad reader. It's just like, it is what it is. And sometimes it doesn't come through in mass amounts because you're not supposed to get the message from me. And I've like learned to accept that too. Like, it doesn't mean I'm a bad reader. It means that's just the way stuff is. Like, and so they're sort of saying like, relax into it and move through it and get with it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And you don't even have to think about it at a point. It's just because it's new. Right. So I've learned that too. Ice skating has taught me so much about like, just like, doesn't mean you're never going to get it. And it doesn't mean it may take you longer than somebody else. And you'll get, the more you do it, the more comfortable you go with it and less scary it feels. So you said, I've been feeling like that. I meditate a lot and stuff, but when I get stuff, I get scared and think that I'm making it up and stuff. Hello, welcome to everyone's world who starts to do this work. Not that you're necessarily going to do it for work, but like the point is like, I spent so many years being like, oh my God, people are going to think I'm crazy. What if I'm wrong? This is like, and the other thing is like, it becomes so easy at a point you feel like you're making it up. There's times where I still feel like, am I making this shit up? And then people like come back and tell me like, oh, da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay, like, because I felt like I was making that up. Like, it still feels that way. That doesn't go away. But you just learn to get a little bit braver and be like, whatever, it's worked. And I've been right before. And so I'm just going to share what I'm getting. And like, I will say to people, even when I'm doing private reading, is like, listen, don't answer me just yet. I'm asking this question, but don't answer. I want you to let me finish and explain why I'm asking the question, because I watch enough readers who ask questions and wait for answers. And I'm like, but then it just feels like you're cold reading. And I'll ask you the question and explain to you why I'm asking the question, what I'm getting that's leading me to that question, if that makes any sense. Okay, Amiel, if you notice, the pinned comment says the list is closed for today, but that if you hang around, I have 7 different card decks you can choose from, and I'll do an oracle card reading for you. And if you come back next week when I'm on, same time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, you can purchase a reading, and they're $12 each, and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Yeah, so like, and that's a process too, learning to trust yourself, because that's like, it's hard doing this skill. That's like, seriously, like my mentor Stephen would say, it's not supernatural, it's super normal. Like your intuition is normal. Everybody has an intuition, and we are oftentimes taught not to trust it, right? Especially as women. And I say that because you'll often get, as women, sort of trained up through society to be like, just be nice. Oh, like you can have a bad feeling about somebody. And even if they're saying all the right things and doing all the right things, and they're like, they look nice on the outside, and you're like, that person doesn't feel right. And society teaches us women is to be kind to everybody, be nice and smile, don't be judgmental. And your intuition is not being judgmental, it's just telling you. So I always say, like, to my kids, it's okay to, like, if you don't get a good feeling about somebody, you don't have to be rude to them, right? You don't have to run away and be like, ah, but you also don't have to open up your energetic space for them and keep coming back for more, right? So that's the idea of, like, oh my God, what if you're right? I look at it like, yeah, I'm right. See, I'm not crazy. And it was funny because, like, my cousin and I had this conversation. She goes, oh boy, you must get a lot of shit for telling people that you're a psychic medium. I was like, yeah. She goes, I get it for being a divorce attorney. And I'm like, yeah. Like, you just have to, it's not about growing a thick skin. It's about learning to trust yourself more than anybody else. And learning that you don't need that outside validation. And it took me a long time to get there. And I hope for everybody else that it doesn't take them that long. But you do spend time when you're first getting to know it. Like, is this real? Am I crazy? I did a thing where my husband and I were walking around Manhattan, and we went to an OTB, off-track betting place, because he wanted to see something about, I don't know what, if it was the Kentucky Derby or what race it was. And I was like, all right, folks, to my guides, if this shit's real, let me know who's going to win. And I closed my eyes, and the first thing I saw was the number 6. And I looked at the board, and the first number 6 I saw, I was like, okay, it's that horse. And I walked up to the window. I grabbed $20 from my husband, because at the time I never carried cash on me. And I was like, and so I grabbed $20. I was like, I will pay you back. This is my money. And I went up to the guy, and I was like, I want to put $20 on number 6. And he looked at me, and he goes, do you know what you're doing? And I was like, absolutely not. It was 1 in 38 odds, and that horse won the race. And I ended up with like over $800 on a $20 race based solely on my intuition. So I didn't throw away a whole bunch of money. It was just $20, an easy bet. Again, didn't know what I was doing. So the point is like, you're gonna feel like that's normal. All those feelings, it's normal. Normal to feel crazy, normal to be like, oh my God. So that's why I said earlier, like, write it down, journal it, whatever you're getting, just journal it. Even if you don't listen to it, journal it. So that when that thing comes to pass, when that intuition hits, you have proof and you're not crazy. We are all energetically connected. Time is not linear. So getting information before it's physically happened is not so weird. What's creating the struggle, do you feel? Just forgetful? And I'm telling you, people have told me, like, these are things, people said I'm crazy. People have told me that I'm working with the devil. But I got to tell you, if I'm working with demons, then okay, because they're helping people and they're being kind to people and they're telling people to love each other. So if that's working with demons, then I'm okay being on team demon. They're not scaring people. They're not telling anybody to hate themselves. They're not telling anybody they're terrible, horrible sinners. Like, none of that. So if that means working with the demons does that, then I'm working with the demons. I've been told, someone said to me, like, I wouldn't want to be you. That'd be horrible to be you, to have those abilities. Well, I don't think it's so horrible. I do, like, I am befuddled by humans often. I do not understand cruelness or being unjust. I do not understand greed. I do not understand status or the love of, and this is not against any of you, because I know people are like, oh, I've got this new, like, I have clients that love, like, luxury things. I don't understand that as being of value over what a human being is. I was in a circle, and one woman had said, like, her friends, like, she had to wear the right clothes or she would feel judged by her friends. And I don't understand that. I'm not friends with people based on their clothes or the car they drive or where they live. Quality people are everywhere and anywhere, and you're missing opportunities for having amazing people in your life and the richness that you can fill your life with if you only want to fill your life with people like of a certain status. You're missing learning opportunities and growth. And that's what I believe we're here to do. Learn to love ourselves. And through loving yourself, you learn to love others with so much more ease. And it doesn't mean you allow shitty things. You learn to set boundaries. But I think it's growth and experience and growing your soul. And that doesn't mean meditating all the time to grow your soul. Growing your soul means like opening up and learning from others. Sometimes you feel like it's not worth writing down and I'm being silly. Fuck it. Write it down because you're not doing it. You're not doing it to be like the people who post to like get their ego to be like, I've predicted this. See, it works. It's like, is it a helpful prediction? Because I don't share predictions unless I think they're helpful. And sometimes I share predictions. Like I shared a prediction once on TikTok that it had like over 300,000 views and I privated it more so because I was like overwhelmed by the notifications energetically. And like, because energetically you can feel when people look at stuff. And it was like, basically there was a tall couple on TikTok and I was like, they're not going to make it. And he's the problem. And it was more so to see for women to trust their intuition about men or men to trust their women intuition when it comes in relationships. And I think people miss that. They're like, you don't love love. And I'm like, no, I do love love. And that's fucking unhealthy as all get out is what that is. And I don't wish them ill will, but like, that's what's going to happen. And when you don't start learning how to like read people and trust your own intuition about it, you end up in messy situations that are unnecessary. You remember someone told you you have an empath like superpower, but I don't understand being an empath. Like, can you explain an empath for me? So I sort of am annoyed with, I will use it because it is trendy, but empath I think it's a stunted vocabulary. And I feel like it's a safe word for people to use because they don't want to use the word clairsentience. Clairsentience is clear feeling. So you can feel what other people feel. You can feel emotionally or physically. You can feel energetically what's going on with them. And the thing about it is like people think, oh my God, it's draining me. Oh, I can feel what other people feel. But like, it doesn't drain me to feel what other people are feeling. I don't always like when I pick up stuff on people, like they're nauseous all the time and I like this, the source of that, like whether it's the spirit that's passed away or whatever, doesn't let me like let that go. And they keep making me feel it. I'm like, I've acknowledged it. They've acknowledged it. I just want to move through that. Like, this is not a feeling I want to have all the time, but it doesn't drain me. It's just more annoying in the moment. Like, I don't want to keep feeling that. Can I move beyond that? You don't have to be drained by things. You can just decide that you're feeling it, you're noticing it, and you're allowing it to move through you. Some people are very dramatic about it. Like, oh my God, I'm an empath. It's so hard to get through the world. It's like, well, I mean, social interactions exhaust me, especially when there are like lots of people. When it's just one-on-one, I'm fine. But like, social interactions can be exhausting for me, but I think that's more of a sensory thing for me than a psychic thing, right? So if I'm doing psychic readings, unless I do like an event where I'm doing like one after another, I'm not usually drained. Like if I do like, probably like if I do like 10 readings, I'm good. Once I get to like 17 to 20, I get kind of exhausted. But again, that's a sensory thing, I think, more than anything, just a lot of interaction with a lot of people. I get sensory overload. If I wear earplugs, I'm better in public. That's empathic. You're feeling other things that other people feel. So you might feel from a distance what somebody else is going through, right? You might get the thought about the person and then feel like, oh, something's wrong. I don't feel right about that. That's using your clairsentience. And I think when you say clairsentience, it opens you up to more growth. Whereas empath is like this, like, I don't know, limited in a way to me. Not to be snotty about it or anything, or elitist. The psychic elitist. You're welcome, Fern. I won't lie, I always wanted to be a psychic medium, but I don't really think it benefits from its it benefits from its disability. Wait, what do you mean? Like you don't know the benefits from being a disability? First of all, I don't I feel like I was always sort of meant to do this work as a educating people and helping people and giving messages. I won't say like, oh, you're not meant to do it. Like, not everybody's meant to do it. I think you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, so if you want to do it, do it. Like any career you go into, especially if it's something that's like not mainstream career, as seen as like, you're going to have a lot of people judging you about it and deciding who you are as a person, whether you're a sham or a con artist or part of the devil or crazy or like really cool and gifted, and you shouldn't charge people for that because, oh my God, that's God's gift. But like everything is God's gift. Like, let's be honest. If you want to look at it as God, like everything is of source. And we live in a world that requires money as a source of like a accounting of like energy exchange. It's got its drawbacks, and it's got advantages to it. Like, I trust myself because I've like really delved into like the spiritual aspect of things and built my spiritual thing and like learned about law of assumption and really rebuilding things. Like, I love me and I trust me and I trust source and I trust that, and I don't, and also like a big thing of it is like, you learn that like, God, everybody's got a lot. And so shame is just very silly because everybody's dealing with something. Shame is just what's the point of it? It makes no sense. You start to look at things a little differently. Maybe it's from a more elevated spiritual guidey type thing, but it's a gift. That's just for me that I learned, and I can tell people about it, but we learn through our own experiences. I think everybody has the ability to be intuitive. Everybody has that ability. So they're just like with an athlete. You have some athletes that are like now professional athletes. I'm a professional, who were born with a lot of natural ability, who practiced a lot. And they honed their skills and they moved in a direction that said, I want to do this. I'm going to do like, first I'm going to start here and I'm going to play Little League and like, look at that. Like, I'm doing great. Now I'm going to play, for my middle school team. And I'm going to keep practicing. And I go out there and I practice every day. And like, even if it's not for a game or for a team, I'm out there, I'm throwing the ball and I'm catching and I'm practicing catching pop-ups and I'm practicing doing, bunting, whatever your batting skills are. I'm in the batting cage on like, I'm doing that. That's the love of it. And it's like, it's in you. And then you're like, okay, and now I'm going to go play for the high school team and I'm going to practice more. I'm going to play on a summer travel team, whatever it is. And now, okay, I'm hoping that like colleges find me and however that works, or I'm going to try out for the team. Like, it's like this intentional move towards it. And with a lot of practice, anything that you get really good at is because you chose to practice it. But there's also people that are professionals that weren't like, they didn't have like all that natural talent, but they practiced a lot. And maybe they're not like the top whatever, but they're out there and they're doing it professionally. And they may not play as many years, but they're out there and they're doing it professionally. And then there's people that get injured and they decide not to do it. So there's people that like have an experience while they're doing readings and they're like, yeah, I just don't like, it's not working for me anymore. That doesn't make you a failure, just deciding to move in a different direction. So how do you develop your psychic abilities? You find courses that, like, I started taking courses through Holistic Studies Institute. I don't know if it's still working, to be honest with you, because when my mentor died, I don't know if his successor was allowed to pick up and continue the work. I am creating a psychic development course, which will be asynchronous, which means there's going to be an online portion that you do on your own. And then we'll have meetups where we practice our doing readings for other people, because practice is what gets you there to grow and develop. And then you get brave at some point and say, like, I'm going to start doing readings for people on my own. And everybody usually starts out where they're like, I don't want to take any money for it, or only charge a little bit for it. Like, I started that way too. Everybody I know started this way. You don't take any money for it. And then you're like, well, just donations. And then one day hits and you're like, that's all you think it's worth? Like, I'm better than that. And so then you set a price for it. And you start like, well, I'm worth a little bit more. I definitely undercharge for my readings. I know what I do. I know what I do is good. I charge less than people who have less experience than me. And I don't really care, because this is where my rates are at. But it doesn't mean that I'm not valuable or worthy or worth more. But that's what I did. I started taking courses and developing it. And then I just put myself out there. And then I was like, I really think I'm good at it. And I started doing readings. Like, this was harder for me to jump in to do it this way. That was scary. And every new step that you take, just like any career you're in or anything else, anything new you decide to open yourself up to is scary. And then something, you just have to be willing to do it, even when you're doing it scared. And you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to be shitty at it and fail. So you have to be willing to be like, I'm going to be wrong. I might be wrong sometimes, because nobody's ever 100% correct. And I say that I can be wrong, but my guides aren't wrong. So I might be interpreting it wrong. I still don't think I'm wrong about the election. I got that she would win, and I still don't think I'm wrong about it. I still think, even when I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning and saw the results, I heard my guide say, kind of like a Russian election. You will walk with the belief of going things, whether scared or not. Yeah. Okay, let's do some oracle card readings. Don't want to do that? Get your readings in. Who wants an oracle card reading? I will show you the decks I have. Same thing from last week, minus the dragon one, because I don't have the book. I left it on my. I'm still wearing my ice skating pants, y'all. I came home and I just was like, meh, and do my emails. Okay, Allie wants one. CB wants one. McKeegan wants one. MEL wants one. All right, so let me make my list. I'm trying to make this stuff fun for people who, like, maybe you can't afford a reading, or you don't have the cash right now, or you're whatever, but you still want a little message. This is an easy way for me to do it. And that's what we'll do. Okay. Let's see. Let me write my list down. I've got Amiel, McKeegan, CB, Allie, Linda, Katrina, Rockdon, Tiffany, and Regine. Yay! I think people like this. I think this is what keeps people here. This is my new. All right. So the decks I have are Divine Guidance from Your Angels, Messages from Your Angels, the Enchanted Map Oracle cards, Green Witch Oracle deck, Spirit Animal, Past Life, Inner Child. I promise next week I will bring down more. Promise. Promises. So, Amiel, which one do you want? And I'll write down, if you guys put down which one you want, then I'll write it down next to your name. So then that will make it easier. So you don't have to try and remember forever. So Katrina, I've got Enchanted Map. What else do you guys want? Do you want me to show them again? The Green Witch for Regine. I like that one. You show them again? Okay. All right. Okay, Allie wants the inner child. I do have a lot. I actually have more. That's the thing. I have more. Okay. Okay, I'll show them again. Ready? I've got the Green Witch Oracle deck. The Spirit Animal one. The Enchanted Map. I haven't worked much with that one. Messages from your angels. And then I also have daily guidance from your angels. Inner Child. Inner Child for sure has journal prompts, which I kind of like because it gives you something to do. And then Past Life. You like your goddess deck? I've got some goddess stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, I have so many. I don't even know how many I have. But the tea leaf one, I forgot I had. And I found it the other day and I was like, oh, I love this one. Okay. So, no, Amiel, you have to choose. I'm making you choose. You have to choose, not me. I can move you if you want to wait and not have the first one and see what the other ones are like. We can do that, but you have to choose. That's empowering you. McKeegan wants Enchanted Map. CB, what did you want? Linda wants Past Life. Tiffany wants Messages from Your Angels. Inner Child for Amiel. CB as well. All right, Rock Dawn. Which one do you want? If you want to wait, because you're kind of further down the list and see what other people's readings look like, little card pulls look like, and then that's fine too. You can let me know when I call your name. All right, so Inner Child for Amiel. All right. All right. Tell me what card, show me what would be most beneficial for Amiel at this very moment to receive a message. What card would be most beneficial for see if this moment. What card would be most beneficial? See if one jumps. If not, I'm going to just do it this way. Whoop. Okay. All right. Your card is 17. So that number could mean something. You can look up, the meaning of number 17, angel card numbers. And it says, go on an adventure. Today is the day to try something daring. Let me read from the book. To go on an adventure is to awaken and explore within. There is much joy to be had in adopting this spirit of exploration, even for a day. As children, life was a remarkable journey into the unknown, and remembering that excitement can help you bring our joyful inner child to the surface. If you pulled this card, then it may be time to try something new today. Playfulness exercise. Practice living in the moment and do something spontaneous. It does not have to be a big something, only a new something. And don't worry if the details are not perfectly planned. Some of the best memories can be made when you least expect them. Go on an adventure, either big or small, and do not let apprehension keep you from exploring. Apprehension will fade, but the wonder that is to be found will surely not. Note, if you have anxiety around this exercise, please do something that feels adventurous but not overwhelming, such as reading a new book or trying a new dish at your favorite restaurant. Be gentle with yourself and know that you will find your own beautiful, wonderful adventure that is just for you. Responsive journaling prompt. What emotions does the idea of adventure bring up in you? Is it something you believe you are capable of or will enjoy? How does your inner child feel about the idea of an adventure? You can watch this back to hear it again. So you're at 3:15. Holy crap, I've been on here a long time. 3 hours and 15 minutes is, you want to look for that time. So mark that down so you know where to find it on here so you can come back and listen to it. Okay. McKeekan, yours was, you don't have to tell me, I'm going to find it, Enchanted Map. All right. Haven't worked much with this one, so we'll see what it is. All right. But I like Colette Baron Reed, so. All right, so what messages does McKeekan need for today that will be best helpful to him? Okay. Dragon's Lair. It's number 19. Okay. So mark the time, 3:16:58, about there. So you can come back and listen to it. Dragon's Lair. You are always protected and divinely directed. I'm going to read them as uprights, but you know what? When it came out upside down. But I'm going to read both of them, so then you can figure out what feels best. Upright. You have a remarkable internal warning system that lets you know when things are out of alignment. You're about to enter dangerous territory, so tread carefully and be aware of your surroundings. The path you're on now is one that will challenge you to the core. That said, peril is also exciting and exhilarating, like the danger you feel before you enter a new relationship, knowing that you'll be changed forever. A life lived fully and isn't lived until only in safety. A new experience is calling you, one that will test your courage. The choice is yours, but there is greater value in risk taking than remaining unchallenged. New territories are waiting to be discovered. I'm going to read the reversed one. Red flags shouldn't be ignored. Don't be seduced into learning a lesson that will hurt your heart. Temptation and intrigue abound, but be careful because you can't win this particular challenge. Heed this gentle warning about wanting and longing and the fantasy of belonging to someone, something, or an identity that has no true substance or longevity. Ignore this alarm and you'll wander in circles near the edge of a dragon's lair. Choose another path, for your treasure lies elsewhere. Maybe it was supposed to be upside down. Okay. All right. And then I think Regine is next. Inner child, or is that CB? Hang on, let me see. CB is next. And you're going to mark your time at 3:19:10, inner child. So you can come back and refresh on it. What does Cindy need to know in this moment? What does Cindy need to know in this moment? What does Cindy need to know in this moment? Oh, there we go. 44, you know the way. I would look up that angel number. Trust your intuition on this journey. 44. In this life, there will be many voices telling you the right way to go. They can be confusing and sometimes contradictory, pointing out all of the intersecting paths that you could take. Just know that this life is yours and yours alone. No one else can tell you the path that is yours to walk, for only you know the way. If you have pulled this card, then know that you are going the right direction. In addition, this card can also mean that you might need to listen to your inner voice now regarding a future decision. Take some time to reflect on the voices that you might have been listening to. Is there one that is drowning your own out? Inner work exercise. Set aside some time today to connect with your inner voice and intuition. There are many different ways in which you can do this, and each person will be unique in how they receive their inner guidance. Go somewhere with minimal distractions and begin to reflect upon a question, decision, or choice that is before you. Notice how your body feels when you think about each option. Is it tense or relaxed? What do you feel when you think about each option? If you can, close your eyes and imagine each scenario playing out in your life. Which possible outcomes do you prefer? Think about what it is that you want for your life right now and also for the future. As you go through these exercises, look for what gives you a feeling of peace. Peace is what will help guide you. Responsive journaling prompt. How does it feel to listen to your deep inner knowing? Do you feel a sense of empowerment when you trust yourself and your intuition? I might also recommend, if anybody else hears one of these and they're like, oh, just do the journaling prompt, see what happens for you. It might help you grow your own intuition too. Sort of healing some of that inner child stuff does do that. Okay. Allie wants inner child as well. And if you change your mind and you hear one of these and you're like, oh, I think I might want from that deck, you can change your mind and change it. You're welcome. Period. All right. This one is for Allie. What does Allie need to know in this very moment? What does Allie need to know in this very moment? All right, I'll do it this way. Okay. Speak to yourself with kindness, 33. Again, look those numbers up. Become aware of how you speak to yourself. Speak to yourself with kindness. Mark the time, 3:22. The stories we tell ourselves can create the patterns with which we live. In our daily lives, the words that we choose to speak over ourselves can deeply influence how we think and act. We are often unaware of just how critical our self-talk can be, or how often we engage in it. If you have pulled this card, then it may be time to review your self-talk. Inner work exercise. Oh my God, Noah, I am always telling you that. And so are they. Inner work exercise. If you are currently in a place of negative self-talk, this practice will focus on becoming aware of the negative self-talk as it occurs. During this exercise, ask yourself, am I speaking to myself with love right now when you are reviewing your self-talk? It can be helpful to use an object such as a piece of jewelry or a physical reminder to speak to yourself kindly. An object of high value can be more beneficial, particularly if your negative self-talk focuses on the idea of lack of personal worth. If you can, choose an item of value and importance for this exercise. You are worth it. Once you have your object, practice becoming more aware of your self-talk. At the beginning of the day, set an intention to be aware of how you speak to yourself. Throughout the day, as soon as you notice a negative thought, touch your object and remember that you are worthy of positive and hopeful self-talk. Whatever negative thoughts you had, speak the opposite to yourself or out loud. Practice this as many times as you can throughout the day. If you feel that you need an extra dose of positive self-talk, think about 3 to 5 uplifting, affirming things you like about yourself. Write them down and place them somewhere so you can see them easily. Say them to yourself or aloud every time you see the note. Responsive journaling prompt. How do you feel when you speak to yourself in love and kindness? How does your inner child feel when they hear those words? Try writing down how you feel at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week. Do you notice a difference after completing this practice? Sometimes when you start being kind to yourself, you feel weird about it. You feel like, oh, that's like so cringy to like speak that way. The other thing is your brain pays attention to like 5 different things are like of major importance. So like anything danger, your name, and you can decide that like, okay, whatever follows I am is really important. And so then that sort of clicks your brain is like every time you hear I am, when other people are speaking it too, you pay attention. Like automatically your brain goes, oh, I'm listening now. I'm paying attention. And then then you start to notice and you start to like be like, oh, that's like not really nice to save myself. Or like, that's super empowering. That's amazing. Okay, Linda wants past life, right? You still on past life, Linda? You're welcome. Don't forget to like. You all have to subscribe to talk here. So if you're not subscribed, you should subscribe. All right. This one is for Linda. What does Linda need to know about a past life at this moment? What does Linda need to know about a past life at this moment? Celtic. Celtic is your card. Let's find it in the book and see what it says. You drew this card because you had a significant past lifetime in Celtic lands, and you continue to feel bonded with this culture. Perhaps you've lived in or visited the Isles of Ireland, Scotland, Wales, or England. If so, you may have a sense of deja vu and be an Anglophile, a person who adores these cultures. You're also fascinated with Stonehenge and King Arthur's Camelot. You may have learned the old region of the Celtic lands, which involved the use of healing herbs and gaining wisdom from oak trees. You could even be an ancient druid in disguise. Your connection to the elemental realm has made you love fairies, elves, and all fae. You also respect and love trees, especially oaks and willows. If you haven't already done so, schedule some visits to the ancient sacred areas of the United Kingdom and Ireland. Exploring their stone circles, castles, and spiritual artifacts may trigger additional healing memories. You could also go online and find people on TikTok that do walkabouts or educating on those areas. That might also be a way if you don't have the financial means or ability to travel. There are ways around these suggestions. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Katrina wants the enchanted map. Rockdown, are you still here? Or did you go to sleep? You're welcome. Okay. What does Katrina need to know right now in this moment for this week? All right. You came up with 51 Moonlight. And that is... Your intuition allows you to see beyond the mundane, logical, and analytical. Follow it. And it was upright. Moonlight beckons. Come and trust your intuition to lead you into places that may not seem logical. Your hunches will be right on target. Resist second guessing yourself. Resist second guessing yourself, for your alternative perception is especially sharp right now. You can see beyond the surface of things and truly read between lines. This is a good time to use oracle cards and other systems of divination to gain information. Remember that the language of intuition is a symbolic one. It comes subtly through a hunch, a tingling, a clear sound, or an animal or object crossing your path. Spirit is sending you messages to help you now. Success is yours if you follow the signs. Okay. Tammy, oh, you want to have a reading? Which card do you want? Did you hear all the other things? Rockdon, are you here? You're here. Okay, which card did you want? Which deck? You're very welcome. Rockdon, which deck did you want? I think you might be delayed. So I'm going to move on to Tiffany. Hopefully you'll pick one. Tammy, you wanted one too? Okay. Tiffany wants messages from angels. And then Regine wants anything from Rock Dawn. Come on, you have to pick one. I'll tell you what, I'll do these other ones. If you haven't picked one, then I will pick one. Okay. This one is for Tiffany. What does Tiffany need to know in this moment? What is Tiffany need to know in this moment? You have Athena. It is safe for you to be powerful. You know how to be powerful in a loving way that benefits others as well as yourself. Okay. So there's, I'm going to read hers and then I will tell you, Rock Dawn, which they are. Additional message. You have been afraid of your own power. You have worried that others would disapprove of you or leave you if you allowed your true power to shine. You have also been concerned that you might abuse your power and that your masculine energy would become unbalanced. I am here to help you reveal your power to yourself and others in a way that enhances your relationship, self-esteem, and life purpose. Your power comes from love, from God. You who are made in the image and likeness of your creator have unlimited power within you right now. Within you right now. You aren't capable of abusing your power because your heart chakra has opened like a flower in bloom. Think of a person whom you admire, who is both powerful and balanced in their masculine and feminine energies. Such power is beautiful. It also amplifies your spiritual healing and psychic gifts. You are a strong and powerful light worker, and God needs you to accept and reveal your power. 332. Okay, Rock Dawn, here's your options, and then I will read for Regine and Tammy. These are your options. So pick one. So this is messages from your angels. There's daily guidance from your angels. The enchanted map. Past life. Inner child. Spirit animal. And the Green Witch Oracle deck. Tammy, which one do you want? And also know that some of these can apply to other people too. So like if you're like, oh, that sounds like it resonates for me too, take it. It doesn't have to mean that it's not theirs. It can be like there's a message in all of them. Okay. I'm going to do Regine's because I'm waiting on Tammy and Rock Dawn to tell me what they want. Message from angels for Rock Dawn. Okay, I'll do yours. Okay. Okay. What message does Rock Dawn need today in this moment? Message does Rock Dawn need today in this moment? Archangel Raphael. I am helping you heal physical challenge in yourself and others. You are a healer like me. Isn't that funny that you asked that question when you mentioned your mom with her fevers? Lady, telling you there are no coincidences. Additional message. I am with you because I am the Archangel of Healing. I am helping you heal your own body as well as the physical body of others. I surround physical ailments with my healing energy of emerald green light, and this energy is absorbed where it is needed. I speak to healers through their thoughts and feelings. I help you discern in this way. If your life's purpose is to be a healer, I can help you to know which areas of healing to study and then assist with all the aspects of your healing career. Call upon me whenever you need such help and know that I will be with you in an instant. Call upon Archangel Raphael to help with your mom, whether it is to give wisdom to those that are caring for her, to find the answers, or for her body to find healing within itself. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I hope that's helpful for you. Okay. Tammy, did you pick a deck? Messages from your angels? Okay. So I'm going to do Regine's and then Tammy's, and then we're done. And we say goodnight. And we've been on here for a very long time. Okay. So this message is for Regine. What does she need to know in this moment that will be most helpful for her this week? She needs to know in this moment what will be most helpful for her this week. Bird. Freedom and opportunity. Let me read the message. And then mark your time as 3:36 if you need to come back to it. Let's see where it's at. It's on page 77, so I don't know. Master number. Card meeting. Card meaning. As symbols of freedom in many cultures, birds tell us that we too can soar. Conversely, many bird species are tied to a food source with a specific region, so they are completely interconnected with local land and its energies. Finding a balance between these two extremes can be challenging. Migration is another challenge. There is an element of sacrifice involved in leaving the known and familiar and trusting your intuition to get to where you need to be. The bird card also tells you that a new opportunity is close by. Lift your head past your current focus and look around for it. A bird's eye view may reveal something you might otherwise have never known about. New opportunities are on the horizon. Reflection. Have you been struggling to change your mindset and learn something new? Okay, that was for you, Regine. All right, Tammy wants messages from angels. I love that. See? Spirit does use these. Okay, and Tammy wants messages from your angels. All right, what does Tammy need in this moment right now for this week? What does Tammy need to know in this moment right now for her through this week? What does Tammy need to know right now in this moment to get through this week? Oh, yours jumped. Chantal. New romance is imminent. Lady, what are you telling us? Sorry to laugh. New romance is imminent, either with a newcomer or through a reignited passion in your existing relationship. Be open to giving and receiving love. I'm going to read it. If you want a different one and you feel like this does not resonate at all, I am happy to do that. It just seems out of left field. Hang on. I'm not laughing at you. I also was thinking as I was shuffling the cards, how like, would you have ever thought all those years ago that I would be doing this? Because I didn't. Okay. You have new hungering for more romance and passion, and your prayer is answered. I am a romance angel, and I'm here to help you. New love is on its way, and you can open the door to this romance by opening your heart. The more that you are welcoming new love with open arms, the more romance will come your way. This also means that you must express yourself romantically towards your partner. But be candid about your feelings and intentions. Be playful like we angels are, and most of all, be openly loving with your partner as a way of encouraging the flow of romance to return to you. I will give you guidance along the way, and it may involve actions that seem unrelated to romantic love. Yet you will know it is me who encourages you to join a gym, enroll in an evening class, or meet a new friend, for example. My trademark characteristic is that I can create a very strong feeling in your heart, and then I surround it with warmth, like I'm giving you a big hug. The more that you follow my guidance, the faster the romance will be delivered to you. I do want to say something about this because it kind of was like coming to me. No, but you're so glad. Okay. What I kept feeling was like this idea of like learning to let all types of love within your heart is really important too. and recognizing different forms of love, because that sort of allows romantic love to come in too. So if anybody is working on relationships and like, look for all the ways, like the ways that you can love yourself, the way that you can welcome love in, and like loving gestures don't have to be about like, oh my God, it can be like loving gesture can be somebody opening a door for you. Like kindness is love. So, all right. I think that's it. I think everybody's had their reading. Is everybody good? Did I forget anybody? I wrote my list, but I just want to make sure if I forgot anything, speak now or forever hold your peace till next week. So not really forever, just for a week. You're welcome, Regine. You're welcome, Allie. All right, so y'all have a good week. Be kind to yourselves. If any of this stuff resonated with you, take it. If it doesn't, run away. You know how it works. And I will see you next Sunday. Because that's how I'm going to be here. Okay, bye.